Cool. I didn't realize I could do
Yep.
that until just now. No, you know what I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about or no?
What's that?
I was able to stream this live to my channel.
Oh, yeah, you can do that if he has
Yeah.
that enabled. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
That'll help
Thank you,
him.
Jonathan. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Every little bit helps, you know.
And there
That's
we
one
go.
thing I don't think I can. That's one thing I don't think I can do with the free StreamYard. I
No,
don't
you
think I
can't.
can.
You can't stream it.
I think
No, that's
that in itself would be a really good reason for me to actually spend a little bit of extra.
it.
You know.
See, this is it. Cows don't portion control. Buzzer, yeah. Animals don't have
No,
to
they just
portion
eat.
control. They
They
eat,
just eat.
and then when they're hungry, they eat some more because they're eating the right thing.
Yep. No, we're the only animal that portions controls. We're the only animal that totally goes against what it's meant to have. You know.
That's because they're feeding
And,
us fake crap that we're not designed to eat. That's the problem.
well, not only are they feeding us fake crap, but they're also feeding us fake information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's crap in all forms of it, pretty much in all forms. It's not only crap of the food, but I mean, to be told, like, to me, it doesn't make sense with the cholesterol thing. You know, it's just, if you think about it, like I've said this before, and I've said this to you before too, and but I think it's worth repeating. Like, we're sort of like insulting God a little bit. If you're religious, you're sort of saying, like, God, you made us, you did all this stuff to us, but yet you don't know what you're doing, and we know more than you. And it's sort of what we're saying. It's sort of what it's being said. Like, our bodies actually produce cholesterol. Well, if cholesterol is poisonous to us, why would our bodies produce it? That makes no sense.
That's right.
And but yet we're like, oh, cholesterol causes you to have heart attacks. Cholesterol causes you to do this. So you can't eat red meat. Well, it's obvious red meat is really ancestrally for all of us. I mean, like I said before, I mean, if you want to have vegetables here and there, that's great. But I think everybody should be still eating the meat. Like, I still think that it's optimal for all of us.
Think about this. Is there any plant food that you could just survive on? Now I know people have been stranded on deserted islands. I guess technically you could survive on coconuts, but are there any leaves or any just plain old fruits that you can survive on? Well, you can't. And I think one of the reasons people can survive on coconuts is because it has fats. It has some protein, not a lot, and there are carbohydrates, but it's high in fat. And it seems like, and I see this on several channels. I know that Dr. Kiltz always says this, that it's a fat-based diet. And I think for many people, it works out well. Now, but what really gets me is that you have these people out there that insist that they're raw vegan. And all the raw vegans that I know get really sick within months. And yet you have these people promoting a raw vegan lifestyle. And they look halfway decent, halfway normal. Some of them have a good physique, but it makes you wonder what they're doing in the background. I think a lot of this stuff is not vegan, but cheating, where they're cheating. And then they're just making money off of their program. That seems to be the main thing. A lot of them, they talk about vegan, and then what do? Well, I sell this supplement, or I have this coaching, or I have this or that, or whatever. So half of the video is dedicated to that. So they try to lure you in with this promise that vegan's going to make you healthy, and then they lie to you. And you see over here, CJ's note says, I was exposed to poor air quality and didn't get sick, but being in a cooler climate, and so a warmer climate help you from getting the flu. Maybe for you, but not for me, because I get the flu 3 times a year. Yeah, heat exposure can also cause the flu. That's probably why I get it. And then Feral Grandma, Jonathan thanked her.
I was just about to say, she made a couple good points here. The last one being that, stranded people probably also learn how to fish, which is probably true.
That's true, too.
If you're stranded on a desert island, there probably is fish there, so that's probably what they're doing.
That's right. And that's it. Well, they haven't come down a lot here yet. Well, I guess at the canal, the prices are still the same. There's just only a limited supply.
Yeah, they come down for me.
Really?
Like, I buy eggs again at Walmart. I buy them 60 in a case. Like, I buy the big box, and because basically I try to, like I said, I try to do for both me and my roommate. So, and I buy monthly, so I kind of need that that big amount, And last month they were like $30 for the box. Now they're about 19, so they have gone down.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I see this comment here. Yeah, check out Jonathan's videos. He's got several videos on it. And if you're not already subscribed to Carnivore Muscle, I recommend that you subscribe. Let's say it's a strong recommendation from the Carnivore Quack. If you're not subscribed to this channel, what is your excuse? You should. It's free, and if you want to go beyond that, you can join the channel. It's not expensive, and that's actually would help Jonathan, who deserves it. Let's see, just because you have a pickle or vegetable doesn't exclude you from eating. That is correct. If you eat 70% or more of your diet is meat, you're a carnivore. The vegetables are just something. Now, this is a good point. Raw fermented pickles are good, and I do believe, for example, you got the frugal prepper guy. There's a couple of other people I know, and I know a person in person who's using fermented vegetables as a way to transition from a vegan diet to a carnivore diet, and it's benefiting him tremendously because, and in Barkay, some of the other channels have mentioned the bacteria in your system depends on what you eat. So if you've eaten high carbohydrates for many years, you're going to have bacteria that like to live on those carbohydrates. And when they don't get what they want, they can actually aggravate your system and make you suffer. And then you'll switch back to those foods to feel better. But fermented vegetables, for some people, not everybody, because some people are allergic to them, but if you can tolerate them, that's a great way to help transition because it'll help clear out. It changes a condition slowly. Oh, we got somebody here. Uh-huh.
Let's see. Looks like Jonathan again. Who said his profile?
Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's see where the comments
private chat.
Plants are a hierarchy. Some are really useful and medicinal. That's true. Even Dr. Chafee mentions that. Do you think that some think they're genetically destined and nothing they can do will change their health? I think a lot of people feel that way. And I think it's one of the reasons why people give up. That seems to be an issue. Let's hit some more of these comments. Fermented to be sure. And again, when you ferment vegetables, you're actually mixing bacteria in there. Bacteria are not plants. I don't count how many days I went to carnivore. Sounds like perfection. I can't count it either because I don't remember the exact day I started. So, but that's a good point. Let's see. Fat plus sugar equals heart attacks. That's correct. That's what Barkay always talks about, Randall's cycle. That's his thing. My understanding and belief. You are correct. But Randall's cycle. Barkay always talks about that. Lots of fun can be had from gifting memberships. There you go. Well, that's good that you do that. Let's see. Hood Rich t-shirt. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe Thomas knows. I don't know.
What was that? Hood Rich t-shirt.
Oh, well.
I'd have to look that up.
He'll probably explain it. Let's get
Victoria. It seems like Wordable is like putting in the lyrics for the DuckTales cartoon.
Oh, okay.
In the chat.
I see. Let's get Victoria on here.
Probably in honor of you, I'm guessing.
That'd be funny. Get a vegan in here. And the thing is, unlike Barkay, I don't use personal attacks to make my point. I like to let the vegans bury themselves because they're good at that. But that's part of his thing, and hey, that's fine. Everybody has their own way of conducting interviews. He was nice to me when he conducted my interviews, so I can't complain. We got our work cut out. Yes, we do. We got our work cut out. This woman needs to be...
Speaking of interview, I'm being interviewed tomorrow by what's his name? John Laspina.
Oh, good. John the carnivore teacher.
Which I think you've been... yeah.
I've not only been interviewed by him, but I've also...
on that one.
When he used to have his lives, I was always on that, his Carnivore Live. So, yeah. Right. Check him out.
Weren't you the first, like, when you started doing interviews, weren't you the first one? Like, and then Peter was the second?
I think I was the first. I tend to be the first in a lot of carnivore channels. For example, Dave Mack's channel, I was the first.
That is true.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like Alia Wells, and you know her. She says, if you want to start a YouTube channel doing interviews, get Rick to do the interview because all you have to do is say a couple things and Rick will do all the talking. So I think that's why I'm such a popular person on the channel.
That's why I had you on my channel for that first time.
There you go. And see,
Yeah.
so the smart YouTubers that maybe they're new to it, they want to get somebody easy, they pick me. So I end up being the first on a lot of streams. And I'm perfectly happy to do that because I'm a big talker. And I think, again, I never had stage fright. I don't mind talking to people. I tend to be reserved when I'm around a group. I don't really talk to people until somebody says something. If somebody says, "Hey, Rick," hey, I'll come out of nowhere. But otherwise, I just keep to myself. But once people start talking to me, then I don't stop. But I'm very respectful. When I get in a group, I'll sit in the background and I'll wait. And then they say, "Well, what's your opinion, Rick?" And it's like, "Uh-oh, here it comes." And the talking but I try to not go on forever. I don't keep repeating myself. A lot of people will
You're
repeat.
like very reserved when you were on my channel, and I appreciate that because you knew the
Yeah,
time limit I had and stuff like that.
that is correct. And that's one thing. Timing, I'm very aware of. Whenever I would do presentations for my business or for other people, they tell me how much time I have. I didn't use a timer or anything. I could go through it. I didn't even have to rehearse. They gave me the outline. I'd go through it piece by piece. Okay, everything's right up here. It's like when I was a kid, I never used a map. I would look at the map and memorize it, know where to go. And my parents would ask me for directions. Well, where do we go? Well, you got to turn over here. But if you go that way, it's a shortcut. It's just one of the things that I have. And being on the carnivore diet, I think, has actually helped that. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, to me, too many people count how many days, but if you had duck food in between, then you need to cross that day off. That's true. I've had duck food in between. It's like when I went plant-based in 93. It was like 7 months I was plant-based. So I subtract that from my time because I started carnivore in August of 83, which means that this August it would be 43 years. No, 42 years. But I say 41 years. Ugh. Now who's calling me?
Is that somebody like that's calling in?
Well, that's on the other line. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Well, Rick's on the phone. I can't really put things on screen, but I see a thing from CB Carmack also. There's a lot of these freaks producing content on the sugar diet now. I tried to watch them out of curiosity, but gets my blood pressure up and mood down. Yeah. I mean, definitely, I agree with that, CB. It does the same. I think it does the same thing for most of us. It's just like getting that information is just. We all know that sugar does not help us. I'd have to go back a little bit more. I mean, that's pretty much at the bottom of the chats. I mean, after that, I have a few from. I'm not sure who Boogie is, Audible Hub. Did you mean Booby? Booby Goats? Oh, okay, Jonathan. Ah, Maui, Hawaii. That's cool. Oh, Humphrey Bogart. Okay. Now here's looking at you, kid. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Kai Ma, are you new to for Jonathan or no? I'm very new on Jonathan's channel here, and I do appreciate Jonathan you allowing me to come on here because to me this is your home. Okay, well, welcome. Hmm. I mean, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that I don't really know on here that may not know me. I mean, if you have any questions, for me, you know, like I'm not as experienced as Jonathan or Rick, but I do have some that I can answer. I tried holding up the fort, Rick. So
Oh, I got
you
a
okay?
customer that's got problems. Yeah, I got a customer. Their air conditioner is broken, and now the world is coming to an end. I said, look, open the windows, put a fan. I will get to you later. But I told them it's going to be double the rate if I have to take my time off and go over there. So, but they said, "Oh, I don't
Which is
care. I got
fair.
to get it done." But yeah,
Which is
when the air
fair.
conditioning breaks, it's an emergency. You know how it is down here. It's terrible. Okay, let's see. Most eat for pleasure. Well, I eat for pleasure and nutrition. Thanks to you guys, everyone in this active, paying, joining, sharing, liking. I don't have to eat duck food this one. There you go. See, that's it.
Mm.
I mean, that's great. And it looks like Jonathan's channel is getting kind of active now. All of a sudden everybody's
Yeah,
popping in.
I can't see the stats from the StreamYard section, but yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how many people do we have. I don't know. I have to get familiar with this. But yeah, they turn food into a drug. That's correct. Nutrition is a real pleasure. I agree with that. Feral Grandma, that is important. Yep. See, there's some
I'm not
good
sure.
comments here.
Yeah, there's a lot of good comments. I was just welcoming on Jonathan's behalf. There's a new person, Kai Ma, that's from Maui.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
I am so far
and I asked
behind
if
in
they
the
were
comments.
new, and they said yes, they were. Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
I see
starting from
that.
the bottom. I mean, there's probably a lot more than like I can't. You know how hard it is for me to scroll and everything like that. It's just unless I'm answering as I go along, but
That's just an artificial shortage. They were killing off birds because they're trying to get rid of bird flu. That's an excuse. But I don't know. Later Rick work calls. Those calls don't stop. That's the funny thing. Let's see. To a pizza joint.
Well, especially if you're
I
on
ate the
call, basically.
See? Let's see. Minus one slice she had with lasagna. I ate the whole large pizza, minus one slice. But I was instantly back on my carnivore. Yeah, I think once you're in it, if I was to eat that much pizza, I would be having so much diarrhea, I wouldn't even want to go near the pizza place.
Yeah.
Rick's special move is the claw. Quick slice of edible animals. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Let's see. Political is mostly a big effort to control all the food options. Yeah, so make people buy from their friends and family. Yeah, bad flu and kill. Exactly. It's just a scam, Plus, the way they raise those chickens is just wrong. What can you do? I get the runs from an expensive ribeye. Huh, that's interesting because they say that fat makes you go to the bathroom. I've never had a problem with fat. I've gotten sick from a Chinese buffet before. Yeah, I puked egg noodles. Oh, that's nasty. Those places are scary. If you look at Dirty Dining, every one of them seem to be those Chinese. Even upchucked the caution cookie message. Amazingly, ducks in parks and zoos don't get slaughtered. Yeah, that's true. Well, around here, they get captured, and then they might end up. You got kung flu. Okay. The sugar
and when
zombies.
it comes to the fat thing, I think that your body does tend to get, like I think in the beginning you're just not used to it, but I think after a while you do get the ability to have more fats in your system. Like look at the meats I get. I get the 27-73, ratio, and when I first started out, it did make me. I mean, I still go to the bathroom a lot. I'm not going to lie and say like I never go to the bathroom. I mean, that's just I just don't. It's just not me. I mean, it could be a lot of people, but it's just not me. But I don't. It doesn't bother me, and I just go, and that's it. But now, when I have my burgers, I still have the 27, 30, 73, but I also add cold butter to it. Like I do, like Peter does with my burgers for his steak. When he has the cold butter. Or Aaron when they have the cold butter with each bite. And that's sort of what I do, and that's grown little by little. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm still going to, but it takes a lot for me to really get affected. So,
Right.
you know,
And for the person that was asking for autism, Jonathan has posted the autism playlist. You need to watch that.
right.
You will learn a lot more than you ever think you would learn.
And
Good.
didn't I see a documentary? I forget what documentary it is, but there was one where they were talking about the guy that was producer of Airplane,
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Nielsen, and
Right.
something about his son being autistic. And it wasn't carnivore; it was through keto. But
Okay.
how he was like really like nonverbal and everything. Like, he was really bad. And somehow when
Mm-hmm.
they put him on the keto diet, he's now working at some college.
Wow.
The son. So I mean, if keto, right, can do that, can you imagine carnivore on how much it can help?
That's true.
You know, it's sort of mind blowing.
But
You
it's
know,
like everybody has some kind of defect or some kind of anomaly. It's like in my case, I have sinus issues. I always have. And people tell me, well, it's the dairy. It wasn't the dairy. It's the meat. It's not the meat. What they don't understand is that even if you're suffering with problems on the carnivore diet, if you were to switch to the duck food diet, it would only get worse. I don't know anyone. Well, I don't know anybody that would switch from the carnivore diet to a standard diet or even a vegan diet. I don't think I've ever seen anyone who was carnivore who went to vegan. Now, I've seen a lot of people go from vegan to carnivore, but
yep,
it
me
just,
too.
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if your body makes cholesterol and fat is what you store, when you eat the wrong foods, your body stores fat. Why would it do that? Because as you get fatter and fatter, you get closer and closer to dying. But I thought about it years ago. I'm thinking, why would God or whatever people believe create a body that basically kills itself? It doesn't make sense. I can understand getting
Yep.
older and falling apart due to entropy, but to put on fat, why would it put on fat and be so hard to take off? Everyone's saying, if you can pinch an inch or whatever, you need to eat special K. It's like, what is the point behind this? And when you think about it, it's like, yeah, I got an idea. Maybe it's creating that fat as a way of avoiding a bigger problem. It's just like blocked blood vessels, the plaque and all that. Why does it do that?
Yep.
Well, maybe it does it to stabilize it. That's why only the arteries get clogged and the veins don't. Because it's not the stuff running through your blood, it's the thing expanding and being damaged. It's like when you have an AC duct and it's leaking air. You get the mastic and you put it on there and you stop the leak. Or you put tape over something, or maybe your radiator hose is failing and you wrap it up with some tape and, string or whatever, just something to block it off. Now, eventually it's going to burst, but it's just sort of like a short-term fix. And I think this is the problem because people they look at what's wrong with you. Well, you have this problem. It's because you're eating carnivore diet. They don't even think about all the other people that are eating the so-called healthy diet that have even worse problems. And see, Jonathan says right here, his days carnivore can be proven. And yes, they can. This is why it's good to do, he uses apps. Plus, he's been on YouTube. Should have dropped the ribeyes. Yeah, right? He might solve a mystery or rewrite history. That is very true. Okay, let's see. Let me hit more of these comments.
I think
Good
that
evening.
actually, again, who just said that with the rewrite history? Yep,
Orbital Hub.
it's another part of this. It's another part of the Duckburg song from DuckTales.
Oh, okay.
He's giving us the lyrics to DuckTales slowly but surely.
That's what it is. See, I don't even remember. I should know that. And we have Jamie Henry Brown. I don't recognize him, but that's
Never
good.
doubt the power of DuckTales. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Yep, I think we're getting some new people in here. That's really good.
Now, which one is Kim? I know who Sandy is, obviously. Which one was Kim? Which one's Kim? Is that is that Orbital Hub? Is that Kim?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to have to start making a list. Yeah, the sugar diet. That's another thing. You got that goofy guy, Cole Hauser or whatever, and then the Mark Bell and all these people now are on the sugar diet. But what really makes me mad is because if you have somebody who's already muscular and has all that muscle that can absorb that glycogen, it seems like they could eat a lot of sugar. You see all these younger guys do it, and they're in great shape. But then when they get older and they damage their metabolism to a certain point, they can no longer get away with it. So if somebody's been, muscular, lean, or whatever, and they eat sugar, it's going to take a long time to destroy them because your body is good at sequestering that sugar. It can store it away. It can move it around. I don't think that's a good diet long term. Basically eating carbohydrates with no protein, what good is that? But they'll make a trend. Some people make money off of it. Then people suffer. It's the same old thing. But you notice that even though the carnivore diet, keto diet have been around for a long time, they were able to corrupt the keto diet. But the carnivore diet, it kind of comes in cycles. The only thing they can do is to try to trash it. And now there are people like my friend that tried the carnivore diet and failed. But again, they didn't transition to it. And I believe, this is just my personal belief, I don't have any science to back it up, but I believe that some people, especially those that grew up plant-based, they have adapted their body, and I don't think they'll ever be able to live on the carnivore diet and feel good. They can eat meat. They could have 50%, maybe, I don't know, maybe more. But I think in their case, concentrating on keeping some of those whole food plants and vegetables in there that they can tolerate and adding the meat is the best strategy, because my friend is doing fantastic. I just can't get him to get the courage. And this is the other thing. Think about this. If anyone in the carnivore community switched to the vegan community, would the carnivores go there and make fun of them and trash them and make death threats and all that? Of course not. But when a vegan becomes a carnivore, the people just trash them. They're like, oh,
of course,
you're going to, yeah. So it goes to show the mentality. When your brain is full of vegetable toxins, it probably changes things. Whereas when you're eating protein and fats, it's not as bad. Let's see.
Which is, it's funny that you say that. I mean, it's I've heard it several times. I'm sure you have too. That carnivore is like a cult. It's like it's like this religious thing. But in my opinion, if anything is a cult, and I don't degrade. I agree with Dr. Barry. I don't degrade veganism or anything like that. But I mean, to me, that's more of a cult. I mean, because if you go off and stuff like that, it's like, God forbid, you're like abandoning your people, but if we, if any of us decide, like you might get some comments here and there, but like, we don't really degrade you if you have the occasional, carb or pickle or anything like that, just like, it's like, okay, well, you obviously hurt from it. So don't,
Well, the fact is, human beings can survive with carbohydrates. We have amylase in our saliva. We have a body that is designed to absorb carbohydrates to a point. But again, flooding it's like water. I need water to live. I can't produce water myself. My body can produce all the carbohydrates it needs, but I need water. But what would happen if I took a 55-gallon drum and I tried to pour it down my throat? What's going to happen? I'm going to die. I'm going to drown. Right. It's just a matter of
you're drying your tissues. Yeah.
Right. How much you can actually die from drinking too much water. I forget the scientific term for it, but you can basically dilute your body to the point where you just die. And the thing is, it's the same thing with this carbohydrate thing. Why in the world would you eat processed carbohydrates, the absolute worst food that you can eat? You're isolating it from the original plant, and then spike your blood sugar. And then you have to have that thing's in your bloodstream. But if you eat too much fat, it's very hard to get fat through your system because your body can only absorb so much. You need the bile, you need your stomach acid and all that. If you eat too much, it just goes out the other end. So to me, it made no sense. It's like when I was younger, they used to talk about a French paradox, that the French ate a lot of fat and they were skinny compared to other people. The French paradox. But it's really just the same thing, and they don't eat. I mean, they're eating sugar and all that too, but they weren't as fat as the Americans. But they convinced people in this country to go low fat, and I think that's a mistake. See what CB Carmack says right here. I saw one guy pushing the sugar diet, but I could tell his teeth look rotten in spots, feeding those sugar-thriving bacteria like Streptococcus mutans and causing stanky breath. Yeah, well, that's it. Now, me, I got broken teeth. I haven't been to a dentist since 1986, but I don't have any cavities. My teeth feel fine, and I've been on the carnivore diet the whole time, which I think has been part of that. Let me see what else we got here. Ribeye had a lot of fat. Yeah, I don't have a gallbladder. Well, that's it. You're going to have diarrhea if you do that. I love butter with all meat.
But
Okay.
people that have gallbladders, they still make it work.
That's
they
true.
Still make this diet work,
As long as their liver works. If you want to know how addictive duck food is in the form of bread or grains, get a donkey and introduce it to sweet feed. They will hee-haw every time you see you outside. That's interesting. Yeah, sugar seems to be addictive. Not to everybody, but that's it. Probably the chemtrails, if anything. That's possible. Dr. Abs is live. Yeah, he is. I think I even saw him on Barcade channel or one of the other channels.
Now, I have to admit, I've never seen Dr. Abs, so I guess I have to look him up and.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's still on the carnivore diet, but I know he's kind of supportive of the carnivore diet. Don't confuse him with the idiot Dr. Ids, which is a complete moron. But yeah, Dr. Abs, that's interesting.
I don't think Dr. Abs would be a hard person to find,
I guess Jonathan is talking about fat stores. It's specifically to store toxins to buffer the load on the circulatory system as a form of protection. Yeah, so that's why people get fat. Your body's not trying to kill you. It's just you're doing the wrong thing to it, and you're adding all that fat. Jamie Brown is a new
supporter. And it looks like 2 people joined us in on the chats.
That's great.
I don't know if you noticed or not. One is Polish Mike, and the other one is a guy that I know from the SBG gang, Tim from Walker to Walking.
Oh, well, I don't know if anyone has the courage to join in. They can click the link.
I was going to say they,
don't be afraid.
Both of them are pretty interesting stories and stuff. Not that we're really telling our stories on here. I don't think I mentioned once about why I'm doing carnivore and stuff like that.
That's true. Well, Fear of Grandma has a good point too. Half the first-time heart attack people have low cholesterol. I'm sure mine is sky high. It was when I was 28 years old. I can only imagine. But I think those levels go up and down. I think that it's like Barkay always says, don't worry about your levels unless you have a problem. If you feel good otherwise and you got energy, it's just nothing to worry about. And I agree with that 100%. I think that people overanalyze these levels. You're going from a level of people that may not be healthy. I think the majority of people in the U.S. are metabolically unhealthy is what they're saying. So if you're going to compare yourself to that average, you're not going to be anywhere close to it. And that's good to know.
No, my cholesterol when I last got it checked was 207. And and to me that's nothing compared to most people I hear on the carnivore experience. But it was enough to get pushed and to get bugged about getting a statin and everything like that. But
they got to get you on the poison.
Yeah, CB just said that the StreamYard link is gone from the chat, so you got.
Oh, it's gone. I will repost it. No problem. That's what Mitch always does. If you want to come in, you're welcome here anytime. I don't get offended. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
Show up. Okay. I'm so far behind, it ain't funny. Well, let me see if I can dash through some of these comments here.
Yeah, CB is great. CB is a great guy. He was on on Mitch's birthday.
Yeah, that's right. We were there. I was there too. Makes sense. Some could be damaged from a lifetime of slop. That's right.
I agree with that. I think Peter was there too, but he was kind of short-lived for Peter. He didn't stay on too long, I noticed.
He was here earlier. Some vegans are fruity. I think a lot of them are.
No, I meant on Mitch's birthday. When he was in the panel on Mitch's birthday, I didn't see him for that long.
Mm-hmm.
I would expected him to be on longer than he was. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Let's see. Yeah. Drop. I'm not sure what the symbol is. Looks like a muscle. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here he is. Come on in.
He's coming on.
There we go.
There's CB.
I'm driving.
There we go.
All right.
Driving.
Not driving crazy.
Look over my scruffy look. I've been lazy here the past few days.
Mine's growing back too, so I know.
Well, that's great.
Am I delaying? I'm getting a little delayed.
A little bit. Tim's actually asking where you get the link. It should just be in the chats, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, vegans care more about their cows. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was Jonathan that made that video. That's a good point. You ought to check that out. That was what they used to talk about, French paradox. Yeah, they tried to lie about that too. Yep, early 2000s. That's true. Well, not cats. Cats don't like sugar. I've never seen a cat that likes sugar. Have you?
Mm.
What is duck food?
No.
Okay, this is a good question. What is duck food? I'll tell you. When I was a kid, we used to give the stuff we didn't like to the ducks. And I don't like bread. I don't like pasta. I don't like any of that stuff. I only like meat. Meat, eggs, cheese, yogurt. So all the foods I didn't like, I used to feed to the ducks as a kid. So I started calling it duck food. They try to give me some bread. Oh, that's duck food. Pretzels, duck food. Chips, duck food. So anything other than meat, eggs, and some dairy is what I call duck food. Now, then again, fruits and vegetables in their whole form are not necessarily duck food because they're whole foods, but I don't eat it. So to me, it's duck food. But a lot of it depends on the person. But that's a very good question. And yes, Polish Mike is here, as you can see. One of the hardcore carnivores. Y'all shooting hoops today? Nah, I'm inside in the air conditioning.
I think I solved my delay, by the way.
Excellent. Excellent.
Who is
Yeah,
this
you have a
loser?
lot of
I
comments.
think there's
Who
another
is this
person trying to get
loser on
on.
the chat? Oh, Lord.
Rick, I think Tim is trying to get on, but he's doing it through my channel, and that's why he's not seeing the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me think.
So I told him to go on Carnivore Muscle's channel, and
Yes,
he should be able to
that's
find
what you need to do. You need to be on the Carnivore Muscle channel. You can open another channel while you're on the other one if you want.
I have recommended Carnivore Muscle channel to many of my coworkers who ask questions about building muscle on carnivore or whatever that are, they go to the gym. I used to be in as a hobby. I never did it competition like Jonathan, but I was in bodybuilding for years myself. I got really muscled up, but I wished I knew then what I know now, because
Right.
I'm telling you now I could, but thanks to carnivore, it's got my brain working and passionate about learning more on actual about the human body and nutrition and all that. So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know all about that, Rick. I know,
Well,
and Matt, say Thomas maybe too, but
by accident.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's become my biggest passion. I was always into music and everything, but now it's like I just devour so much carnivore or scientific and just scientific period, like, content, and of course I read. I don't do as much reading as I do, because there's different types of people who learn different. I grew up, I was one of those 1980s early ADHD diagnosed kids, and but yeah, like going back to all the medications I was on in my early 40s, it was terrible. I mean, I was getting testosterone shots even, and all that shit. I still got like 5 vials of testosterone, injectable testosterone at home that it's just sitting there, but I don't need it because I feel like I'm feeding myself the cholesterol that I was lacking when they tried to put me on low cholesterol lowering medications. I was on metformin and Ribelsis for type 2 diabetes. My A1C was like 10.1. I could feel my vision. I couldn't read nothing like on the TV, like because of my vision was just so screwed up, blurry. Um, but acid reflux is gone. Uh, I was on 40 milligrams of omeprazole every day. I had to take it, or if I ran out, I couldn't sleep at night because I would be spitting up acid. And man, it just one thing after another. Toenail fungus dried up, skin tags fell off, snoring went away, all that shit, man. Excuse my language. Um,
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to keep it PG 13 because I know this is not.
you're right. You're right.
But
So what was the highest that your A1C was? See,
10.1. I
was,
went. I kind of creeped up.
was as high as you know of?
Yeah, yeah. Because by the time I got to 10.1, I could tell the sort of the just the vibe in the room from the doctor and the nurse practitioner. It you know how they say crap's gotten deep, or crap's hit the fan and it's gotten serious.
Right.
That feeling of that, because I was creeping up because I went back because I've got a patient portal. I've been with the same doctor since like 2012. And I went back on my patient portal and I looked at my lab work and saw and screenshotted a lot of my lab work and saw like it creeped up in like sixes all the way up to the eights. And then it got to 9.8 before 10.1. And when it got that 10.1 after they had me on metformin, that you could tell they said you're practically type 2 diabetic because I made the statement about then made the statement about reversing it. Doctor says no, you can't reverse it, but you can just micromanage it, and it gets worse with age, and you just got to just stay on top of it and watch what you eat and all this. Of course, they gave me a printout on what to eat. Of course, it was based off the American Diabetes Association, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep. Which is I have the paperback book myself. So.
Yeah, and I see those books all the time, and because I go thrifting, that's part of my. But yeah, I
My highest
started
was actually
looking
13.5. So
13.5.
my A1C went to 13.5 when I found out about my foot and everything.
Yeah, and I just I started looking up low carb recipes and stuff. I kind of sort of just it was I don't know, I couldn't get it out of my head watching my dad. He has to inject himself with insulin, but now after I found the secret to everything, of course the secret, I try to tell him, but it's led to some pretty negative outcomes and experiences with him because
Pretty negative feedback, so to speak.
he's an ignorant redneck for one, here from Northwest Alabama, and
Right.
if you never really known the term redneck, there's one bad trait to being a redneck, an uneducated, ignorant redneck is uh, hard headedness, being stubborn, and of course all when it comes to your own kids, it's the powdered butt syndrome, but going back to the lab work and all that that I was talking about. Besides all that, I started looking up low carb recipes, and I still was indoctrinated in this. You got to have carbs, and then after that, I started looking up. I started finding these low glycemic substitutes for things that are high glycemic. Like my wife, she's Asian, so she eats a lot of rice, and she's from the Philippines, and their motto is rice is life. Of course, I started looking up recipes and substitutes for like potatoes and different things like that. So I found that, and I actually lost 30 pounds off of eating uh, beans and lentils, and there's a pearl barley. I was doing that, but after that, I felt, everybody, I guess they've watched a Dr. Berg video in their time, in their day. And then all of a sudden, Ken Berry pops up because I was looking up home remedies for different things. And then, of course, carnivore. And light bulb popped in my head eventually. And I finally, took the plunge and went out on a limb and I went carnivore, and that was April the 9th, 2023. You'll get there one day, Rick. You just hang in there, all right? Anyway, but so it's been ever since then, man. When I felt the click in my brain, when I felt the switch, and I felt the brain fog lift, it's like I wanted to scream from the rooftops and wanted to tell everybody, and I'm still there, and so I've become super passionate about it. And but anyway, I'm done taking the floor there.
Well, that's good. We appreciate it.
I mean,
I got some of my lunch in.
Yeah.
This is an example of what I eat. This is over 2 pounds of ground beef.
Oh,
that's
hell
good
yeah.
of you. Okay.
And you see the container it's in? Stainless steel.
Beautiful.
I see a lot of people cooking ground beef. If you don't mind me sharing, like this little trick that I've learned that I like to do that makes ground beef just as good, in my opinion, out of the, because I've told people I eat it cold out of the refrigerator, and they're like, "Ooh,
That's what
how
I'm
do you
doing
do
now.
that?" But what I found that if, and another way to, because when you make ground beef patties, you render out most of the fat,
Right.
which you say,
Not me.
but like if you, of course, if I do that, I do still make ground beef patties, but I'll cut chunks of butter and I'll eat my butter with my ground beef patties. But I found that it's simple to take it, and you can even do this semi-frozen out of the fridge. Just take the whole slab of ground beef, put it in your skillet, and let it. I call it caramelize. It's not really searing, but I call it like caramelizing both sides, and I let it. And it's almost like that caramelization, that brown. It'll be like a glue, and then you just take it and you caramelize both sides. Then you chop it up, and then you salt it in the skillet, and then you let it cool in the skillet, and then you rake it over into your container and then salt it again, then put it in the fridge, and all that fat will solidify around the meat like hard cake icing almost, and that salt will saturate up in that fat that solidifies. But then you've got the caramelized, that nice great caramelized flavor that you've created by doing this method. So it tastes, you get every bite, just about, you get a great ground, or a great beef patty type flavor in every bite, plus the salt and the fat. And then it's just the fat, to me, tastes great. Then you get all the fat without having to add the butter to it. And I found that's my favorite way of, especially taking it to work, taking it with me for work, for lunch. Then you don't need to put the butter in it, because you didn't, separate the fat during the rendering process. Oh, but that's
Yep.
one way. That's one way I like to cook my ground beef. And I see so many people. Of course, I've tried to comment, but you can only comment so much in a YouTube. Comment ends up getting lost.
Right. It's funny. It's like when you do the chats, it's very hard to keep up. I'm sure you can attest to that. It's like hard to keep up with the different chats, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like I wish I could actually be more into the chats when it comes to Dr. Kiltz, but I'm just not on there as much anymore and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a freaking spam call.
Just a suggestion, Rick. Maybe put the StreamYard link one more time, because I think Tim found the Carnivore Muscle channel. So, because I think he's trying to get on.
Okay.
I guess we lost. CB. Yeah, I mean Tim's a great guy. You should like him. Again, who don't we like in carnivore?
Very true. That's very true.
Tried to find a way to get rid of this. Tried to find a way to blow it up more on my screen because for some reason I don't know. I go to Mitch's private community all the time, and I know that the screen is bigger, but now it's telling me to log in, and it's super tiny. So I was just trying to figure out a way to blow my screen up to full size. But you can only do so much when you're driving on top of that. Plus, we have a hand free.
Mine right now is pretty small, but that's because I have it on regular. Like I don't have it full sized.
Yeah.
Because because if I did, then I wouldn't be able to see the chats at all.
Yeah. If I wasn't on my phone, I was on a laptop. It wouldn't matter.
Different platforms.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so you can imagine how tiny the pictures are on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't even have to imagine. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you
that's
do
the only thing I've ever used.
I'll do the Zoom calls like walking around the park.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever used. As far as I want to get my laptop out and start using it more because I do plan on starting to make content, especially like the other day, man. I was like, man, I've got to start making content and because when I went to that mental health training, when they started saying all that just ridiculous nonsense, I was like, man, I want to just get on there and just make a video and post it and then start sharing it on my social media and just like blasting it, And that's exactly the reason why cops, law enforcement officers don't need to make dietary recommendations because they are all walking around overweight, chronic health issues, and it's like that's a perfect example of that training I went to the other day of why they're all, and they don't have a freaking clue. I mean, when you learn and when you become passionate about something and it makes you want to know more and learn more about it, it's easy to start absorbing the content. Used to the stuff that I'm learning now, before when I was a kid, when I was a school flunky, it's stuff that if I knew or if I actually was lucky and like Rick there and got introduced accidentally to carnivore naturally, I would be. There's no telling where I would be now as far as academically and professionally, but it's easy to absorb that stuff when you become passionate about it, and that's what happened with me. It's like when like just about 90% or if not more of mental health issues start in the gut, and I mean, I'm not saying like all of them. I mean, you take like Jonathan's, his deal, I mean, that they taught in that mental health class that, autism is that people with autism are way more prone to developing more mental health issues on top of that, like schizophrenia and just bipolar, and all that. But, they never mention anything about, the food you're eating can battle that or cause that. And when you start digging into it, I mean, you got the serotonin, you got the, dopamine, of course, and you got the other, chemicals or neurotransmitters that are formed in the gut. The food plays a huge role on the influence on that, and And that's just that's something that I didn't hear. It's actually the first mental health training that I've had. I've had a bunch of mental health training in law enforcement. It's the first one I've had though that mentioned anything about eating. So I was sort of at first encouraged by that, but when they started mentioning, stop eating the garbage, it's better to bring a apple to work than go to a drive-through at McDonald's or something like that. And of course, the apple, I'm like, I wanted to scream out, do you even know what the difference is on eating an apple versus drinking apple juice, a real 100% apple juice? And I wanted to see their answer to that. And of course, everybody knows. I'm not saying everybody knows, but people will find out that eating an apple versus drinking apple juice, you're getting a straight shot of the fructose and the glucose and the also pesticides or whatever that's been sprayed on it, versus the fiber in the apple may prevent you from absorbing some of the sugar, but it also prevents you from absorbing the so-called vitamins and nutrients in your other foods as well. It'll bind with it, so but that's the difference. And of course, like I said, I may be rambling on about nonsense, but uh, that's my experience with the training that I have to go to that drives me insane at work.
Real world experience is not nonsense, because that's something that we generally don't get to see. So you're sharing your experience with us so we can see what other people are dealing with. I mean, it's baffling to me that this nonsense can continue to be spread as official information. But then again, the system protects itself. It does anything that it can to keep its influence out there. And it's up to us to discern what really works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just it's so many people at work snacking on Cheetos and popcorn and all that crap all day long. And like I commented earlier in the YouTube, which is probably it's lost in the chat. There's been quite a few people chat since then, including me, about the different reasons why you get these hunger signals. But one of them, besides all the leptin and ghrelin, the satiety hormones, and the insulin, and of course becoming a sugar metabolizer instead of a fat metabolizer, because Part K is always in my head. I'm telling you, but when I talk to like people who don't know, who are ignorant, and ignorance, I'm not insulting anybody when I call we're smart enough to know the difference between calling somebody ignorant or calling someone stupid or dumb. That's a difference. But those ignorant people, I will use the C word, calories, and I will use the sugar burning or whatever when I do talk to them. But the one thing is the lack of nutrients, also the anti-nutrients. Your body's sending hunger signals all the time. So you're just sitting there just eating all day long, snacking on all this garbage because your body's constantly hungry. You're wanting, and besides the lab engineered addictive, food that's been, produced in a lab that for a reason, for profit margins, profit, issues. But say we got somebody else who's jumped on, I'll give him a chance to.
Yeah, this is Tim. So, hey, Tim. Are you muted?
I just unmuted. Thanks for letting me on. I just unmuted.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, we're getting a delay. I think you're playing, probably playing it through like a speaker or TV or something too.
Yeah, do you have your YouTube on also as well, or no?
Sounds like he's got another speaker in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn that
Is
off.
that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't like to compete with each other. So, you know.
I was watching YouTube on the TV, and obviously I'm doing this through my phone, so had the two. Anyways, as my moniker says, I used to be needing a walker to get around, and it wasn't until I went to SBG and did the different things, the protocols, specifically priming, that I was able to get mobile enough that now I can walk without aid. I have a host of things to heal, and when I first started about 5 years ago, I was kind of like The Walking Dead, and I didn't know what was up. So I went to my doctor, went through a host of testing. They tried everything, and after thousands and thousands of dollars in copay, they came up with, we don't know what's wrong. And I just looked at my darling, Marcia, and I said, I guess we're on our own. We got to figure this out. And make a long story short, landed on Carnivore. And obviously, like Ken Berry was one of the high profiles that we saw, and he was like, let's try it. And we both have been doing Carnivore since. But after 3 years on Carnivore, 2 of the years I was just plateaued. I had a stall I couldn't understand. And that's when I went to SBG. And what I figured out is because I was eating 1 meal a day for 2 years straight, I was under eating, and that's why I was stalled. So it wasn't until we got to the priming, eating enough, filling up that nutrient tank, signaling to my body I'm no longer in a famine. That's when all my non-scale victories happened. My highest weight was like 396 on 5'6", so it's a bit overweight.
Oh.
And I'm still in the 300s right now, even after 5 years of carnivore. But I had 2 plateaus. The first one was for 2 years, and it wasn't until I got to SBG, and that priming helped so much, getting all the nutrients that my body needed, the animal fat and the animal protein, that I suffered a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, going headfirst into a foundation, and I had horrific light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, anxiety. Just light and sound would trigger anxiety, full-blown anxiety attacks. I literally would be in an office at the doctor's, a light flash from the outside off the windshield, and I had to leave. I said, I just can't be here, and I just got up and left. And they didn't understand why. Well, all that went away after priming for like 6 weeks. And the pain in my osteoarthritis with bone spurs in both knees, all that went away after 6 weeks of priming. And what I learned later in my journey is the bleeding in my eyes went away from diabetic bleeding of the eyes. And my A1C definitely did drop down. I'm still in the 6s, but I'm not in the, I was 7.9 was my highest recorded one. But I just really enjoy the carnivore way of eating. And I feel the best when I'm doing the line way of eating, which is just the ruminant meat, water, and salt. Because I have a lot of skin issues as well. I've had many skin tags fall off, but I still have skin tags. I still sleep with my BiPAP and things like that. But I know down the road those things will fall away as well. I'm just really happy with the community. Like, this is the first time I'm on this particular channel, and it's just like it's almost like I've known you guys a little while, and it's the first time meeting you, which is really fantastic. I do know Tom, and it was through his channel that I saw this live. I'm just really encouraged with the results. My second plateau was from the priming. I was eating over 400 grams of protein a day, and didn't think anything of it because I wasn't getting any hormone response to stop, if you will. And that's when I hired a coach, and was through Rebecca Heichman, Coach Rebecca, that I learned that I don't have any leptin response currently, so that hormone hasn't healed yet. So I was like, oh, so now I was tutored by her, and it was funny. She asked me, "What do you expect from me as a coach?" And I said, "Well, I want you to teach me what I'm doing that's right. I want you to teach me what I'm doing that's wrong. I want you to teach me how to get what is wrong right and how to keep it right." And she says, "Okay, we can do that." And we just went through a few months of coaching, and I'm on the plan that she had tailor-made. And right now I'm primarily eating burger patties, because for me, counting macros and everything really just gets me irritated. I don't want to do it. I think it's stupid and all of this, but if you don't have a hormone response to tell you when to stop eating, then what you don't measure, you can't manage. So I say that for somebody out there that might not have a leptin response, there is hope, because ever since the coaching with Rebecca, I have went from a 60 waist down to a 56 currently, and it could be a little bit less, because I'm sticking with my 60-inch waist as long as I can. I just tighten the belt, and
you
I'm
might be comfortable.
really, I can really see the difference in the fat burning and all that stuff. It's really exciting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train.
Right.
That's fantastic. So I love seeing and hearing all the stories. I don't know if you're familiar with me, but I'm Rick. I was known as a 40-year carnivore. I'm the 41-year carnivore. I started this diet at age 15 in 1983. And I tried my hardest to gain weight because I was very skinny and short. I wanted to get a heart attack because I hated my life. And I did the best that I could, eating as much meat as I could. Now, you talk about priming. That's me. I love to eat. Anyone that knows me, like my friend Russ Mitchell, when I go to a place where there's a lot of meat, I don't stop. I have zero control. I will eat 4 pounds of meat. I'll eat 5 pounds of meat until I can't even move. And I just can't stop. So, but when it comes to the other foods, the carbohydrates and all those foods, I have no interest in it whatsoever. And the thing is, people would look at me and laugh. "Oh, Rick, he's a bottomless pit. He has a hollow leg. Don't let him near your barbecue. He'll eat everything." And then they say, "Well, how can that be?" "Well, he's got a high metabolism. He's a genetic freak." But now, when I get to meet people like I see here, you can see how easy it is for people to gain weight, and they're always hungry. This is the funny thing. Everybody I know that ate, that they were fat and they ate a lot, they're always hungry. They could never satisfy it. And then when they try to lose weight, Sometimes they'll hit the keto. Sometimes they'll hit the carnivore diet. And then, like you said, they lose weight for a while and then they plateau. And now I tend to be very skeptical of groups and coaching and all that. But one-on-one, I mean, evidently it's working for you, Tim. It seems like when you say SBG, I assume you mean steak and butter gang, or that's probably what it is. Now,
Yeah, Bella.
Bella. Now, I always looked at her as kind of a salesman, like, but they gave Thomas over here a free membership from what he was saying. So
Yeah.
it seems like a good group for some people. And one-on-one coaching, was it mentioned Lisa that was doing the coaching? What was it?
No, Rebecca.
Rebecca. Okay,
Heisman.
Rebecca. That's another one. They're good. They have a lot of knowledge. And, when you have someone that's struggling, you don't know what to do, it's great to have an expert that you can go to, because otherwise you're just going to listen to personalities on YouTube or wherever. They're going to give you this advice, and it's just general for everybody. And then when you're not getting results, you get frustrated. It's like, I'm putting my heart into this and I'm not losing weight. I'm not feeling better. And it's not logical. They always tell you to starve yourself. You want to eat less and move more. But the problem is when you're that heavy, I mean, what was that? Over 500 pounds at 5'7"? How much did you weigh,
No,
Tim?
I was 396 at 5'6".
Okay, 5'6", 396. Okay, 396 is really heavy. I only weigh between 190 and 200 pounds normally, and I'm 6'6". I'm really tall. And I can't imagine if I gain a little extra weight and my pants don't want to fit, it just bothers me. But when you're trying to lose weight, and I had a friend that tried that. He was obese for many years. Now, unfortunately, he died from heart disease because he already had 5 bypasses. And he tried the carnivore. He tried the keto diet, then the carnivore diet. The problem with him is that it was hard to stay on the diet. And I think a lot of times he tried to starve himself. He would try to eat less and less, and then he would stall.
Right.
He would lose weight for a while and then stall. But like you said, stuff more good food in there, and it tells your body, hey, we're not starving. We have plenty of food. And then it starts to lose weight again. It's counterintuitive, but it works. So Tim's an example right here of how sometimes what you don't think is going to work is going to work. And being able to work with somebody that has experience or has the knowledge that can help you, that's good. And then when you share your experience with us, it makes us feel good. It makes me feel good. I see a ducky over there. It makes me feel good because I know
The new person
that,
doing show and tell.
yeah, right? What is that, a thrift store or something? I don't know. Some kind of store.
Is that where
But
you're
anyway,
at, Tom? CB?
I commented earlier I was going to take y'all thrifting with me, but I was going to stay
that's what you
outside,
meant by that.
but this thrift
Okay.
store closes at like 2 on Saturday, so I just ran in here.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Find some goodies.
Yeah, try.
See,
I have found some
CB,
good stuff.
with Rick, you don't have to go to a thrift store. You just go to his house. And you get all the
Yeah.
Well, my house has the stuff the thrift store threw away.
If you go to his
they've
house,
got-
it's like a Smithsonian. Everything's like behind a glass wall.
Not really. Want to make a phone call?
Here you go, Rick. This is what you need.
Is that a signal generator?
Oscar.
That looks like a
Hewlett
B&K.
Hewlett
Oh, it's an
Packard.
HP. Yeah, that's a signal generator, looks like. I think I have one of those. Interesting.
They want $55 for it.
That's too much. You could get that from the Hamfest for $5.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know what I would be able to use that for. I mean, it looks foreign to me. I mean, it obviously looks like it's from the 1950s or 60s.
No, those were made up until the 70s. The 50s ones are vacuum tubes. I would say that's 60s, maybe 70s. I have a few. In fact, I have one here. I have a Hewlett Packard meter. That was that style they did back then. They used to be, into test instruments.
Check this
Looks like
out.
we lost him.
Oh, a mixer. I got one of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's made from Shure. It's made from Shure, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is an old one here too. It's made from Shure, so those things probably last a while.
They don't have that stuff in the thrift stores here. They usually get rid of it. I guess every place is different.
They want $30 for that one. I don't think that's something that.
Too much.
Yeah, it is. They tend to, which I have negotiated with them here before.
Well, that's why they got so much stuff sitting around. It's too high priced.
Yeah, and there's a Dell computer, desktop computer. They want 45 for it, but it's got. I'm gonna turn the mic down. Oh, well, it's got Linux Mint version 19.3 with updates.
Right. You just got to figure out what kind of processor and what GPU you're using.
Yeah. 82 gigabyte system, 320 gigabyte data, 2 gigabyte RAM though. That's not good for a desktop.
Too old.
And it's got a DVD player on it too, so that tells you a little bit.
You know that's old.
Yeah.
Super old.
Yeah. I'm getting away from that speaker though. I know it's loud. But you're not using headphones. I know Mitch, when he does his lives, he really gets distracted by noises because he wears those headphones, you know.
Well, I can use headphones, but the thing is, in my room, I use this dynamic mic so close to my mouth, it doesn't really pick up anything. So I don't have to use the headphones. I can, like, the other thing is Mitch mixes the music. So if I add music to the stream using the mixer, I'll have to use the headphones to determine the level. But since I'm just going through StreamYard, I'm not even going to bother. You know, I'm not adding. Even like with my own live, I use headphones at the beginning and then I pull them out because they bother me. I think I look silly with those big old headphones on.
Yeah, one reason why I like this thrift store, I love old antique bottles. I found a lot of antique bottles here before. So, like, one of them was Valentine's meat juice, and if anybody wants to read an awesome story about back in the 1870s when I forgot his first name, but Valentine is his last name. But the reason why he created Valentine's meat juice is because his wife I think she had like stomach cancer. She had something where she couldn't digest solid food for the time being. But he went in the basement and he started like pretty much pressure cooking, or he experimented until he finally he pressure cooked meat, I guess, and extracted the nutrients and things from it, and then he started giving it to her and claimed that it healed her to where she could actually live a normal life and have energy. Of course, the only thing I could think of was the lack of fat is what be an issue, but still, that's the whole deal with Valentine's meat juice. But I found a bottle from the 1870s in here. If I was home, I would show it on camera, but that was a pretty cool little deal. That's a great story too. I actually asked ChatGPT to write a romantic story about Valentine's meat juice, and it's pretty cool. I saved it all. So yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna turn this down my mic since it's this loud music.
I don't hear too much music, thankfully, but yeah, physical media forever. I agree with that. I have an extensive collection, although it's all digitized. I digitize everything. I keep them in WAV files and MP3 files and so on. But I do like to keep the physical media. Just, I have 8-tracks. I got all kinds of stuff. I got boxes of 8-tracks. I probably have the only working 8-track in any car. That's for sure. Let's see, comments. Let's see. I need to go anyway. Thank you for having me on. We were glad to have you here, and we wish you success in your journey, Tim. Keep getting the help you need and keep working on it.
Yeah, one of the people was asking Galveston County, Mike, is asking if Tim has a channel. I don't think Tim has a channel, but if Tim wants to answer that.
Okay. Does Tim have a YouTube channel?
Right.
We need a carnivore comic series, something fierce. It's possible. You know, you can have all the carnivore personalities. I mean, if you think about it, I'm sure all of us can name at least 5 carnivore personalities out there. We all know Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker. What would be another one? I mean, it's Carrie, Homestead, Hal. Let's see, who else? Well, I'm trying to avoid my friends because I would name them first. We know Jonathan, I mean, obviously. But just like general carnivore, would be another one, maybe.
Does orbital mean like
Barry.
Like the people we're talking about, or does it mean something excuse me, of more of a comical, like humor?
I'm not sure. Maybe he'll answer that.
Because you know who comes to mind would be Dr. Nelson. I've heard he's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. It'd be a hit. No, it's possible.
I try to be funny myself at times. I guess you can see I read my comments.
Yeah, I don't try CB, but people laugh at me anyway.
They love to laugh at me, for sure. I'm a quack. I admit it. I'm a total quack. Quack, quack. But when it comes down to it,
there, Rick.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, if you don't have a good sense of humor and you get to be too serious about everything, it's going to work against you. You become personally offended. You start having issues. Looks like some book or something.
One damn thing after another. Yep, that's true.
That's a good title, ain't it? I looked for autograph books. I actually found a book in here, autographed by Bill Clinton.
Huh.
Okay.
Found one autographed by Jackie Chan in another thrift store too. You find so much stuff. 2 books autographed by the music artist Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. When I do cleanouts, I get so many books, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've never been a big reader. I'm more of an audio book person or a video watcher, but I've gotten to where now, I've gotten now to where my brain works a lot better after being on carnivore for 2 years. So I do read more, but I just, as far as like reading books, I buy them, but they just collect dust.
I find this stuff all the time. Everybody's always trying to lose weight. It's crazy. I don't think they really read it. I mean, a lot of them look like they've never even used, and they get people eating duck food, or I don't know.
And I try to tell people I would take all that weight back because I weighed 250 pounds. Of course, I'm only 6'2", but I weighed 250 pounds, and I've always had basketball was my thing, and I ran track. I did play football, but not like high school football. Kind of stopped around Little League, but I always been a skinny person, and I always wanted to gain muscle, and I did in my mid-20s up to my 30s when I went through the academy, and but after that, I say forget weight loss and focus on optimal health, because with optimal health, the weight will come optimal if you focus on your health. And that's the health first. There's too many people. I mean, there's so many different ways you can lose weight, but you won't be healthy. And that one is these new weight loss drugs that they're selling everybody, because everybody's so focused on weight and trying to look like a cover of a Men's Health or a Glamour magazine, which causes, I believe, mental health problems on its own, or confidence issues. But the optimal weight is the key, or optimal health is the key. Or I mean, hell, you can start smoking meth, and losing weight. But I mean, whether you're healthy on smoking meth or not, that's kind of my point on you can do things to lose weight, but still not be healthy.
Well, it's like Bart Case says, you could cut off your leg and lose weight, but that doesn't help you in any way.
Yeah, you can lose bone density and muscle. But yeah. So
There's a good question here. Any amateur radio operators? I'm not into amateur radio right now. Maybe somebody else is. It might be interesting.
CB radio?
I have CBs, but I mean, like ham radio.
Yeah.
You know anybody that's got a call sign or whatever? It'd be interesting to hit that in the
My
carnivore
grandfather
space.
used to. He was called the Jersey Devil.
Well,
okay.
I talk on the radio all the time, but of course, you know what I do for a living.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm on. It's not
I
my
don't know if
hobby.
I ever told you. My brother-in-law was a police officer.
Oh yeah. And I went
He was
to
retired. He just
Arkansas
retired like 2 years ago.
this week. I've been to Arkansas twice. I went to the Arkansas prison to pick up one we had warrants on Monday, but I went all the way there. I was in 4 states twice. Of course, to go to Arkansas from here, you got to go through Mississippi, Tennessee, and then Arkansas. But I went all the way there Monday, and they wouldn't release them because the parole officer wasn't there. And after I got the okay to go, and then of course Thursday I went back, and of course I got them. And of course, what do? I give them a carnivore talk because people in prison are lost, and also they get fed the same duck food.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Rick Gardner Mopar. They get fed the same duck food that the hospital and schools and the nursing homes and all that get fed. So, so I give them a talk, and I mean, I'm that's one thing that's been proven that, and I've heard RFK Jr. talk about how they've shown that when you feed prisoners good food, finally, I guess whole food, as an experiment, the violent crimes go down, went down like 70%. And and that's exactly what I'm talking about. It would make the guards in the prisons and jails their job a lot easier if they did feed them halfway properly. But but I've seen their food their meals are 95% processed carbohydrate. And it's ridiculous. And of course I give a lot of, I've talked to prisoners on the way to prison for 4 straight hours before, and gave them the run through of why we as humans are technically carnivore. And I went through the whole digestive system. I went through why fruits and vegetables today absolutely have no nutritional benefit whatsoever because of regenerative farming don't exist anymore. Modern farming destroys the one life form that's actually the oldest and largest life form on the face of the planet, which is fungi. And fungi feeds the nutrients. It also devours organic material, recycles it back to soil, but also connects to the plants to feed the nutrients. But when you do modern farming, that destroys the mycelial network underneath. So therefore, it prevents the plants from getting the nutrients. But then on top of that, you still have the pesticides and the herbicides, or the and also the anti-nutrients that are naturally occurring in the plant foods that we know, we've heard many times. Anthony Chafee said it enough, and other carnivore doctors and scientists. But that's that's what I give them the run. You know, I give them a whole lecture on, and I compare us to our cousin primates, whether you believe in the, you know, evolution or whatever. That's another. I'm not going to get into that because that's just. I like the word. I like to use the word adapt because it's more of a universal, agreed upon term than, you know, the E word. Even though I do believe in that E word, but then I also talk about the requirement for vitamin B12, or you die a very violent death. Of course, you got my comment earlier about the two different types of vitamin B12 in. You either got
between
the
vegetables and animals.
synthetic lab made cyanide version, or the methyl, you know, that's the animal version that we are compatible with. And then the overrated vitamin C requirement, and the reason why we don't need as much vitamin C. So that goes back to proving the fact that, or proving the whole we are carnivores because of the vitamin B12 versus vitamin C requirement, because of the competing with glucose and to enter the same cell pathways as vitamin C. So the requirement goes from nanograms to milligrams. So, but I don't want to bore everybody with all that, because there's many channels out there that explain all that. But all of those factors, when you put them all together, proves that human beings are technically hypercarnivore, and we're getting fed this food pyramid trash duck food diet, um, through multi-trillion-dollar corporations buying and paying off scientists to falsify data, which the politicians and the lawmakers buy into. So they put it in the guide. They create the guidelines that also benefit the economy because of the millions of acres of dirt cheap to produce plants that they grow. But as I've become a transport officer now, which I'm still a law enforcement, I'm still a deputy because they wanted a certified deputy to step up, and I was the one that did it. Now that I transport and I drive like to many different areas for hundreds of miles now, I see more regenerative farming, which places that are obviously once plowed and once, you know, had crops, then they'll have it fenced in, and you'll see the cows roaming, you know, grazing, and then you know that that's what they're doing. They're practicing regenerative farming. And that's why we eat the animals that eat the plants. We get the plenty of vitamin C through that. Of course, obviously, we get the other nutrients and vitamins and the vitamin B12 by eating the animals. But that's why. And we don't graze all day long, and we don't eat fibrous material all day long. And we also, one thing we don't do that I will tell people, like gorillas do, is also they are 450 pounds, and yes, they eat plant material, but they eat all day long. But they also crap, but they eat their own crap to extract more nutrients because they don't get enough through the first digestive cycle that to support their body, you know, and their mind, and to get the vitamin B12 and the stuff that they need. So anyway, it could go on for hours and hours and hours, and we'd be here for a 9-hour live to hear me talk about it. That I've learned, and it's probably nothing that I'm saying now that you know, maybe Rick, or even maybe, I don't know how long, I forgot how long you've been doing this, Thomas, but
Depends on how you look at it.
Huh?
It depends on how you look at it, really. I've been on and off for a few years, but I've been strict for about 4 months, like super strict. So, I mean, my channels and everything are about 4 months old, like 3-4 months old. So it really depends on how you look at it. Some people look at it for me just doing 4 months, and some people look at it that I have had the knowledge for a long time. So
It's always technically carnivore, but when I go back, I want to, sort of clarify. I don't have no problem with anybody who says that, oh, I've been carnivore for 600 and whatever days. But my thing with that is, and I want to explain a little bit about what you can only explain so much in the comments in the chat because it'll cut it off.
right.
Post.
Yeah, you have to keep on writing, keep on writing. It's
Thing is a lot of people they don't think of it like I think of it. I come up with a reason why I don't say how many days I've become carnivore because it almost sounds like you're I guess you're I want to say I don't want to talk negative about anybody, but it makes them sound like they're perfect. And my thing is I believe you're carnivore once. Like me, I've been carnivore April the 9th, 2023, but in between I've had some duck food, but only a handful of times because I don't want to do, eat the junk after I felt the power of the brain effects and all the other medications that I don't have to, the medications I don't have to take anymore. But I believe once you get it, once your brain clicks and once you decide that you are going to make a change and that being the carnivore way of eating, I believe that at that point there, you should mark it on your calendar. That's how long I've been carnivore and not how many days, because in between, if you go to a pizza joint, like I said the other day, go ahead and exit that day off. So you got to keep up micromanage the days, and it's stressful
right.
in my book. So therefore, once your brain, once you click in your mind that you get it, if that's the way you know that you're eating.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's why I said I've been over 2 years. I've been carnivore for over 2 years again.
So
Just hanging
going by that assessment, I probably started carnivore back before my mom passed away. So probably like since 2019.
Yeah.
2020, I've been technically carnivore.
Check this out. Speaking of moms, my mom, once I went carnivore, April the 9th, 2023, I turned mom on to Dr. Kim Berry and I explained to her. So she also has been carnivore almost at the exact time I went carnivore. The amount of time that I went carnivore. So when I go visit my mom in Florida, I can rest assured that I'm not. That's different with my dad because my dad, he's a overweight diabetic who shoots himself up with insulin all day. And I tried to talk to him about it. I tried to show him videos on Dr. Ben Bickman explaining the type 2 diabetes. Insulin was never meant for type 2 diabetic. It was just the pharmaceutical company finding ways to make more money because the type 1 diabetes is a rare condition of disease, so therefore they can't make much money. Plus, when they bought that, the guy that came up with the insulin, he sold it for $1, and then of course what happens? It's a multi-freaking billion-dollar industry now selling that crap. But yeah, I try to bring it up that my mom,
my mom too loved Dr. Berry. In fact, I've mentioned this before, even to Dr. Berry. Whether or not he heard it or not, I don't know. But she used to the thing that got her up in the morning or got her up was me just putting on a video of Dr. Berry. As soon as she heard his voice, she just got. So I think she had like a really big crush on him. But she was pretty sick. She had metastatic breast cancer.
Barry's a funny ass dude too, though, man. Sometimes he makes comments.
Another comical person.
Yeah, like I actually screen recorded some of his stuff and sent it to her, and she'll bust out laughing. Like the other day, one of his latest videos. I'm not sure if it was his latest videos or what, but when he talked about having cancer of the butthole and all that stuff like that, but even some of his lives, like I like his lives with Nietzsche, but I like his lives more
by
so
himself.
by himself because I think he's let loose a lot more and comes out of, I
Yeah.
guess, the food when he's by himself and he says some of the
I agree. I mean, you can see he's trying to be funny with Nisha, but it's just not the same. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
more about the history. You know, I don't want to say something that my wife's going to put me in the doghouse or something. But I'm sure he's not watching this live or nothing, so.
I seriously doubt that.
Be surprised. It'd be awesome if he was.
It's a very select group here, so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did start that American Diabetes Society to go against the other, diabetes association. My
Yeah.
friend that died that had the heart disease, it was Dr. Barry, and that was before Barry started carnivore. He was keto. So that's what got him
Yeah.
off the duck food diet. Because the thing is, he's been friends with me for 10 years and he can never figure it out. We go to the buffet and I clean up and eat so much food and never gain any weight. Oh, just wait until you reach your 40s. Wait till you reach your 50s. Well, okay, I'm still here.
Here you are.
But then there's something to this. I think the longer I live, the more people are going to realize there's something to what Rick is doing. And I've had other people tell me now, they said, well, I'm starting to eat more like you and I'm losing all this weight. Well, that's good, but it may not last. I mean, who knows? Like you said, you may stall or plateau or whatever, but I think that over time, most people will get benefit. And if they have any analytic ability, they'll say, you know what, I'm going to stay with this. I hope they don't fall back into the duck food.
Yeah, I remember I've even just out of curiosity, I've went and watched some of Dr. Barry's older videos where he's actually talking about paleo and keto versus keto and carnivore, but talking about, and even like videos where he's defended, people saying nuts are bad for you. But of course, he's went back and revised a lot of his
Yeah.
views and stuff about what he used to recommend. And I'm like I said, I mean, I'm sure if you eating any kind of nuts, it don't matter. I'm aware of all the the cyanide and the oxalates and stuff, but it's better eating nuts than it is eating McDonald's French fries or Cheetos or
Right.
even crackers, like just regular saltine crackers because but anyway, yeah, I thought that was interesting going back watching some of his older videos.
I always wondered how anybody could actually enjoy eating Cheetos. Those things, they look like orange turds. They look like cat turds that were painted orange. They're nasty looking things.
Well, that's their intent, to make it look like orange turds. That's what they're trying to do.
If my phone's about to die,
Right.
but
So you think people start carnivore, have an issue with this or that, and boom, back to the sad diet or duck food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with me is, yeah, I've gone off here and there, like, certain circumstances, like I mentioned. One of the biggest circumstances is rehabs. Whenever I have to go to a rehab, it's hard to be on the carnivore diet. I think we can all, I mean, I think Mitch can attest to that,
Yeah.
And, but still, like, what surprises me, what amazes me about myself, and yes, I'm patting myself on the back here, is how quickly I go right back to the carnivore.
Mm-hmm. Well, even where I work, there's so many times where I've turned down free food. Look, Chick-fil-A, my wife works at Chick-fil-A, by the way. Chick-fil-A gives first responders free food. Like all you gotta do is walk in there and order. And that's free food. And still turn that crap down because I've actually started digging into what that crap's actually made from, made of.
Mm-hmm.
And ingredients like that kids play with silly putty, the same. But we get, hey, go to this so and so church. They're giving away to first responders. They're giving our police officers. They're giving free food, and I'm like, I won't even go. Like I'll have my burger patties with my boiled eggs and my.
Oh, lost signal.
Mhm. I'm like, while CB's talking and everything, while you're talking, I'm looking at the screensaver, I guess, that Jonathan has up for the StreamYard. And I was just thinking, if I was on acid or anything like that, I'd be like really tripping right now, because it's just
Well, you looks like you got stars and smoke and who knows what else going
yeah,
on in
that's what I
there.
mean. It's like this this atmosphere. It's cool, but I just noticed it, So it's like, oh, stay still. It keeps on moving back and forth.
Let's see. Rehab feeds duck food to people. That's true. Duck fillet, Chick-fil-A was delicious. Chick-fil-A is nasty. There's one down the street. I've made videos going by there. The smell is terrible. And on top of that, I mean, the food. The thing is, I've been there when people I work with go to eat there. And the people there are friendly and all that. And they said, "Oh, Rick, you want something?" And I'm like, "Well, they don't have iguana or duck here, do they?" Chick-fil-A. I said, "Well, how about heart attack chicken?" Like, what's that? Just plain old fried chicken legs or thighs. Oh, no, it's a chicken sandwich, which is basically chicken meat wrapped with, I guess, flour and sugar and whatever else and fried in some kind of seed oil. And even some of the other places, they try to pretend like they're healthy by using peanut oil. I'm like, well, peanuts are legumes. They're basically just roots. I'm not going to
It's
eat
not much
roots, remember.
different.
Yeah, no roots, stems, leaves, or seeds on Rick's diet. That's it. And the other thing is the fruit. Modern fruit is engineered to be sugar laden. So I guess it makes it more addictive. That way they can sell more fruit. So I'm not going to eat any of these modern fruits. I'm eating fruit that basically is growing in the wild. And, speaking of fruit, my banana plants are declining because ever since my ducks left, they're not getting the fertilizing that they need. Even though I'm putting all the material back in the ground as compost, it's not being broken down. Without the ducks, it's not feeding the soil fungi like CV Carmack was talking about. And I've seen that. It's happened in my yard many times. But as soon as I get another flock of ducks, the bananas will start to grow massive like they were before. And I can give all my friends the delicious bananas that they seek. But,
Right.
but yeah, Chick-fil-A to me is nasty. I'd rather have parking lot chicken. Yeah, his phone was about to die. Exactly. Looks like Carvajal was successful.
Yeah, I think it more than just died. I think it died. I don't think it was about to die. I think it died.
Yeah, the battery went down.
Yeah.
Car and Rick, you're different. All these carnivores not growing up carnivore most likely loved this carb. Yeah, that's true. I am different because even as a kid, I didn't see candy or cake as a treat. I thought it was like, big deal, right? But meat was always my treat. It is to this day. Let's see. Luckily, bacon
Which I have
is
to admit,
greater than
I mean,
beef.
I do feel a little envious of you with that concept of that you just are turned off by it.
Yeah.
With me, I still like it. I can also, I feel like I'm still pretty refrained for the most part. But, I think if I was repulsed even more, I think that it'd be even easier for me to stay away,
Yep. I go to get-togethers and I never eat any of that stuff. I just don't see it. Everybody's always got the nacho chips and the bread and all that stuff, and it doesn't appeal to me. And sometimes I'll say, well, when's the food coming? Because to me, the real food is the meat. There's nothing else there that's food. And as for rice and all that, they give it to me. You know where it's going. It's going straight to the canal. Feed the ducks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even, if I have control of what I can put on my plate, you're never going to see me putting that stuff on my plate,
That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, like when you're in the rehabs and stuff like that, even if you eat meat and stuff like that, you're still not guaranteeing the good food and stuff. I mean, like last time I was in rehab, I was a little bit more stricter and a little bit more hard-headed when it came to eating the stuff I wanted to eat. But when you're weak and you're going through a lot. Like, you put yourself in the body of like somebody with dementia, and other people are telling you to eat putting the bad foods in front of you. It's not easy to keep on it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But the problem is a lot of people just don't see it as bad food. They see it as normal food, or what they call it. They call it comfort food. I'm like, what is comfort
Or they
food?
actually think actually, no, I'll go a step further. A lot of people think that the food is better for you. They think the food that we're doing is the bad food,
Like they're telling me, eat a potato. I'm like, that's a root. I don't eat roots. But potatoes are so healthy. You can live on potatoes, whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't see the point. I'd rather feed the potatoes to a pig and then eat the pig's meat.
And people going, like, when I was at my sister's, they didn't really argue with me, but they're like, you don't eat, like, how about bread? Don't you eat bread? I'm like, no. I mean, that's probably the worst of them all, if you think about it.
Yep. That's the problem. A lot of people, his phone died for sure. A lot of people, they think that bread is like bread and butter, that's like the main thing that you're going to eat. And I said, you don't need bread. Bread is a processed food. Oh, no, it isn't. I said, well,
you know what? Just take the butter, put it on the steak, and I'll have that instead of the bread.
Well, it's like when you go to a restaurant, they give you a little bit of butter and a bunch of bread. I just grab the little piece of butter and eat it. And then where's the butter? Like, what butter?
Now, you do have to make sure that you are actually eating butter, I mean, because sometimes it might not be the butter, But
well, I think one time that's what it was, because it didn't taste right. And then I had diarrhea a few hours later.
It ended up being margarine or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But it's, it said butter. When I ate it, it tasted a little strange. I said, this butter is kind of old. It tastes like chemicals. And then they said, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Because, once you've been doing this for long enough, you can really taste when it's fake. You used to have the stupid commercial. I can't believe it's not butter. Like, I believe it. I knew it wasn't butter from the beginning.
Yeah.
But
like, you're not shocking me, Eddie.
No, not at all.
I mean, I'm at the point that if I don't have bread very often, even if at all at this point, but if I'd be so strict on that bread, it would not be funny. Like, it has to be like fresh from the oven. It has to be really good bread. There's so many, because if I just went to a restaurant and had like it from the bread basket, I wouldn't like it because it'd be too stale to me. It'd be too old. It has to be like literally still hot,
Right.
Like, and do you think I'm going to be making bread at my house? No.
No.
So,
like you said,
I never
made
bread before all this.
Yeah. In the old days, my mother said they used to sell day-old bread, and people would use it for making things. It was hard as a rock.
It's actually considered pretty good for French toast and stuff. Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. But I never liked bread. I never saw the purpose in it. When I was a kid, they used to give me whole wheat bread. So I grew to hate bread. And now at this point, I just see it as duck food. People give me leftover bread. I head right to the canal and give it to the ducks.
Well, you want to hear a funny story, and this is probably very, very unique. I used to go to McDonald's with my mom every time after she had radiation for her cancer. And we go to this one McDonald's, and we would actually eat it. We would eat in the car. We eat our food, and then when we were done, we throw the food outside, and the seagulls would come and get it.
Right.
Well, one time, my mom had just passed away, and it was like maybe a week after she passed away. I went to it just for a little nostalgia, and got myself a burger, but I wasn't eating the bun. Like, I usually would take it off the bun all the time. Well, this one day, threw the bun out the window, and the seagulls ran from it.
That's bad.
How good is that particular bread that a seagull will not even go?
They eat anything. I used to make videos about feeding stuff to ducks. When I had my ducks here, I had some fake chicken that was from Loma Linda, and they threw that to the ducks, and it bounced around. The duck nipped at it and just walked away. I'm thinking even a stupid duck is smart enough not to eat that stuff.
Yeah. Like what's in that particular bread? Because normally they eat bread.
Yeah.
So for them to be like against the one bread. I mean, because you think about seagulls, they're like scavengers. They'll eat.
Yes. Well, the Muscovy ducks around here are scavengers too. Yeah. And you should see how sick some of them get. The worst are the ones that live behind the hospital, where everybody goes to have their cigarette break and they eat snacks. So they must get a steady diet of junk food. And they're all like they're mutant-looking ducks. Some of them have their feet are misshapen. Their wings are sticking out because they have angel wing. I've seen some with their head is crooked. I mean, they develop like crap eating that stuff. And then they wonder why people are getting so sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm noticing my coughing's getting a lot worse, but still. So if I keep on muting, that's why I'm keep on muting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's probably better not to talk if you're having all that coughing. You might have to take a break and take the day off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what, like, tomorrow, even if I do the my live tomorrow, I can't see it being I can't see it being for too long. Just, I mean, the hour is probably the biggest stretch for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But going back to what we were talking about before, I definitely think Wednesday would be actually pretty good. I forget who mentioned that earlier.
I remember that commercial. Remember, I can't believe it's not butter.
Yep.
Day old donuts. Yep.
It looks like Terry Sue joined back in on the chat.
Oh, okay.
And Lizzie thinks you're funny.
Really? That's a miracle.
Yeah.
My new bed chair is set up. Okay. Dropped everything. I have to restart my whole setup.
I guess
okay.
Couch potato.
Well, if Jonathan's going to restart his setup,
I never try to be funny, but people laugh at me no matter what.
Oh, I know what you mean. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Rick Funny. Yeah, that's what he said. No cough syrup or them throat thingies. They're usually full of sugar anyway.
Of course, you know what? If you look back to Lizzie again, when it says Rick Funny, the emoji doing a laugh, it looks like an evil laugh. So
yeah, that's what I figured.
What is meant by that? What is meant by that?
Yep. Let's see.
Am I right?
Oh yeah, I napped him and I'm back. Breakfast. Okay, definite time change there. And alcohol.
See, Terry Sue, this goes to show you that no matter what, no matter where Rick is, we'll still be on live. No matter whose channel he's on.
That's it. Well, the thing is, I just have a way
I
of
give myself credit for that too, but I think you're the most hospitable when it comes to this.
You have to have a sense of humor, especially when you live the way that I do, because in many ways, well, the thing is, like in my case, no one can really ignore me when they see me because I'm probably the tallest person in this whole area. And then when they see me eat nothing but meat, the grocery store is another one. I never use a shopping cart. Every time you see me going shopping, I think maybe once in a while, the only time I use the shopping cart is when they have a really good sale on meat. The meat's so cheap, I can't resist. I spend all my money. All the money in my wallet goes to the butcher shop, and then I bring that home. But most of the time, I just grab and go. I'll get the few things that I need and then take them home. And I stock up, which is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about constantly, like when my mom was here, refreshing all those fruits and vegetables. That was a constant battle because they would rot. You get some apples or whatever, and then you stick them in the drawer, and they look pretty good. And then, unfortunately, they just sort of half of them are rotten. You get one rotten fruit in there, and the whole thing goes downhill. And it doesn't take long. That's what I like about meat. You don't get that same effect. If the meat goes bad, it goes bad all at once. It doesn't go bad in certain parts. But with these fruits and vegetables, you could have rotten lettuce sitting in the good stuff, and then it just spreads the rot. So that's one of the disadvantages of that diet. I see you're over there having a lot of coughing.
Yeah.
You might have to take a day off and relax. I don't know if you have to work today.
No, I don't have to work, but
Okay.
going to do a few Zoom calls, but I can probably stay in the background.
Right. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just making the joke, Terry. I'm not overthinking the emoji. I'm just just a little observation is all.
There you go. I seem to do naps during Rick's podcast. Well, that's good. There's no battling going on here. It's a relaxed.
To get some sleep. I'm napping right now. You just don't know it.
Oh, okay. Falling asleep, huh?
Yeah. Oh, did you see the thing with? Oh no, you didn't because it was on one of us. I actually fell asleep in the middle of on a podcast like we're on right now with Mitch.
Oh, okay.
Mitch was going, and I was tired. I mean, I just got off of work and everything like that, and I still hadn't gotten much sleep, and I was just like, he made a mark about it. He even made a comment at the next day.
This is a good point. My mother used to send me to the store when she wasn't able to go herself, and I had to look up all these weird breads. I called it challah. Evidently, she knew what it was, and she wanted me to get that. And even the bread would go bad if the bread was fresh baked. My mom only ate so much, and then some of it would go bad, and that'd have to go to the ducks. So that was the other thing. When my mom was alive, the ducks were constantly fed because there was constantly something going bad in the kitchen. But now that it's just me, nothing ever goes bad. I can't remember the last time I had to throw out any food. That's the funny thing about this diet. Let's see. Rick is smooth and predictable until he isn't, and I like that part. I'm waiting for a coconut tree crash fits. I try to avoid those crashes, but I may have to just put a permanent camera on the bicycle so the next time that I have an accident that you can see it. And thankfully, I've never really been hurt in any of these other than a few scratches and bumps. Emphasize the excess fluid. Okay. That cough could be helped by rebounding and trampoline. All right, that's interesting. Let's see. Huh. Okay. Overthink emojis. Okay. Well, anyway, my friend was supposed
to. So, are you going to be doing these? Are you going to be doing this format off of Jonathan's channel, like you did today?
I'm sure from time to time. Plus, I have my own format. I mean, I kind of go.
Like, is this like your new format or something, or like?
It's just a one-off. Try it out. And I see that I guess Jonathan's taking the time to rewire his setup and move things around. He's making it more and more comfortable, which is a good thing. So that way he can stay on longer. So that's great. And I hope he's able to get more support too, which is even more important.
Well, I'm grateful that obviously you let me on, but I'm grateful that Jonathan was willing to let me on too, because I never met Jonathan. I don't really know him that well.
Oh, okay. Well, if you haven't met him, this is your chance to check out his channel and see what he's all about.
No, I've checked it out. I just saying, like, I figured he didn't even know who I was. So,
right. Well, it doesn't matter. The way I think it works.
A very popular person.
I think that Jonathan's trying to get the message out there, and I think one of the reasons he invites me on the channel is to kind of mix things up a little bit, because I'm somewhat unpredictable. I mean, I'm predictable in many ways, but I can also be unpredictable, and I'm the one that likes to do things a little. Yeah, I like to do things a little differently. Let's put it that way. Duck power. There you go. You'll have to make the cartoon.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but this orbital hub, I don't think I've ever seen him on Mitch's channel. So this is or yours. Is he just exclusive with Jonathan?
I don't know.
He or she?
I've seen. I
'Cause I have
thought
no
I
idea
saw
if
him.
it's a female or not.
That's a good
Yeah,
question,
well, I wasn't sure.
but I'm sure you'll get some type of answer.
Yeah. Rick's a loose cannon, they say.
The thing is, most of the time, I don't bother anyone. But when someone directly goes after me, that's when I do it. Let's see. I only hound Rick. There you go.
Okay, so that shows that he's been on your channel.
Yeah. I've
I
seen
mean,
him
I guess
before.
it's
I know
cool
that.
that, from other channels, like Tim was saying that he sold it. Excuse me. Who are you talking about there? Zoom me or Rick?
Talking about me, I'm sure. Well, I mean, I guess now that you're here, that's it.
I mean, I can see you being monetized in about a year. Actually, I can see you being monetized sooner than that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, did you see that Aaron's now monetized?
Yeah, I saw that. Well, technically, I am as well. Been for a while, but I don't really.
Right, because you have enough people. You have enough.
Yeah, I have enough people. I just don't. I don't want to run any kind of membership because I don't have the time to provide any value. And the super chat, I think they take 30%, so I'm not that enthusiastic about it. But I wanted to get out there. I mean, if they give me some ad revenue, that's great. If not, it's not the end of the world. I just don't want to take advantage of my viewers. I'd rather just put the message out there and see what people do on their own.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think my last count of subscribers was like 292.
Mm-hmm.
So I still got a long ways to go before I can even. But that's fine,
Right. That's it. I need to fix my outside cameras so that I can just view it from the monitor instead of having to look out the window. Plus, I can show outside scenes when I'm doing my videos. I got a lot of things to do. That's the problem. I spend too much time online, and on my day off, that's what I'll probably do today. I go outside and try to get something done because I've been inside the whole day. I don't think I've seen any, well, other than the window, I haven't seen any sunlight. Let's see what we got here.
Since I'm on the docket. So.
There you go.
And Bill, when you say 8 or 9, what are you talking about? 8 or 9? What do you mean?
Yes, it is. Let's see.
Okay, well, anybody that's watching this, if you're not subscribed to Bill's channel, subscribe.
There you go.
Help him increase.
It will grow.
I mean, not that it's going to help. Not that it's going to really do that big of a jump, but if anything, even if one does.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm like speaking like I have no idea if he has any content on his channel or anything.
Right. Well, if you have content, you'll get some subscribers. Even a total quack like me has been able to get over 3,000. I mean, right. I don't think I'm going to make 4,000 by the end of the year, but I mean, after 17 years, 10 of those years being inactive, that's probably pretty good.
Oh, he has a channel about video games.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's the one thing I never got into was video games. I mean, they had one video. It was a video game when I was a kid. I think it was called Duck Hunt. I'm thinking to myself, well, why would I bother with that when I could go to the canal with bread and a net and get my own
real life
experience? Right. Yeah. You don't have to shoot the duck. They come right up to you and you grab it, stick it in a bag and bring it home. And you get to enjoy your duck whenever you want. There are very few ducks that can resist duck food.
Okay, this is interesting. LOL and my brother playing as Mitch. What does your brother like do videos like pretending to be Mitch? Like what's that's sort of that. Oh, speaking of which, have you ever seen the videos with Aaron imitating Mitch?
Yes, I think I saw one.
Yeah. She has this really good short where she imitates him talking about having his hat on backwards.
That's funny. That is funny.
Aaron, speaking of Aaron. Aaron's in the chats.
Oh, okay. Didn't see her. There she is. Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it? I'm going to have to wrap this up and get something done today. I just have a habit. We had a couple of people come on, and that's good. One is a regular, one was new. I'm just waiting here to see if anybody else wants to come on. And if nobody comes on, we'll probably give Thomas a break where he can go and work on getting better. And I can go outside and work on doing something other than sitting around all day. I didn't let Milton in here because, well, he's sleeping under the air conditioner in the other room. And I haven't heard him banging.
The show anyway, so.
Do what?
He would just take over the show anyway. So.
Oh yeah, he'll get his hands on the computer, he get his paws and everything. That cat this morning, he's running around like a wild animal. It's so cute. Then eventually he falls asleep. That's the way the cats are. I guess we're all kind of like that too. Yeah. If I was sitting in a lecture right now, I would fall asleep, like a seminar or something. But I eat my lunch, I get my 2 pounds of meat in there, and I get a little relaxed, and then starts to pick up again. So just to kind of say how good the carnivore diet is, right now you can see I have the flu, correct? Yeah.
Well, normally my sugars would be really high. So anybody watching this right now, at my highest, it's at 112.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a sure good sign that it's in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And you keep this up long enough, you're just going to keep losing more and more body fat and get leaner, and you might not even recognize yourself.
I didn't put a video out because it didn't feel right, but I was actually able to give you a little indication. Okay, I was able to put on a large T-shirt. Now it still was tight, but it went over the stomach. It fit. It just was very tight under the arms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started this, the YouTube journey and everything like that, the 4 months ago, I was a 2X. So I've gone from a 2X to a large tight, but still large. And, like I wouldn't wear a large to everywhere, but I was still able to get over my shoulders, and I was still able to get over my stomach. So yeah, I mean the weight is coming down, slowly but surely.
You share your screen. I'm not sure how I would do that. Let's see.
It says Aaron is thinking about going live soon. You mean today, Aaron?
Oh, if you're going to go live, we can end this. Let me see. Or you can join us. I think is my channel name. Okay, here it is. I hate people like this. Comments section. Let's see. Oh boy. How do I open this? I don't have OBS open. I'm not sure how this works.
Now I have a question. Orbital Hub, are you a DuckTales fan? Because I cannot tell with some of your comments. Oh, Darkwing Duck. I remember that from the early 90s.
Yep. Let's see. Nutcase. How can I get this? How do I get the nutcase? Where is the nutcase? Okay. Jonathan's got his hookup back. What? How do I share this? I've got, let's see, mute.
What are you trying to share?
I don't know. Jonathan was saying something about sharing the screen, but I don't know how to. Okay, here it is.
Oh, yeah,
How do I
figured out how to do
open?
that yet.
I don't know how to open that link.
Is he trying to share something in particular?
Yeah, but I don't know how to open this. It's not like OBS. I don't have scenes. I don't think I have the option because I got, let's see, scenes, new scene. What am I missing here? Got banners. Let's see, video clips, but these are all preset video clips. Oh, what is this? Jonathan, okay. Jonathan's here. What am I doing? Okay.
I see somebody slowly coming in.
Yeah, well, I think he's reconnecting.
I'm going to guess who that is, obviously.
Should be Jonathan.
That's who I was guessing. Yeah.
That's weird, though. Seems to be really slow. I don't know why I can't find this. Maybe I get a different menu than the administrator.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, unless he made you like a co-host or something like that. That's
yeah. Well, that's what I think
which
it
he
is.
sort of would have had to have done to allow you to have some control.
Right. But I don't seem to be able to change that. Why is this not coming up? Well, this is interesting. I got an error of some kind. Oh well. It's still running. Computer hasn't crashed yet. I got some kind of weird error and seems like it's still running. Nope. He's coming back. There we go.
I mean, yeah, Labyrinth says video isn't available Abumore.
Oh.
I'm not sure what Abumore means, but something just came up on me for the private chat, so maybe. Oh, sorry.
I got a private chat. Let's see.
Yeah. And Jonathan puts in copy and paste onto Google Rick, then click present screen. So copy and paste.
Okay.
The thing he's bringing in, and then I guess right click the present screen.
Okay. I'm looking for a present screen, but I can't. Where is it?
Well, would it be under like right click your mouse?
I don't know. Let me see. No, it just gives a generic save page as whatever. I mean, let's see. Present screen. Why don't I see that?
Mine doesn't either. I mean, you probably have more capabilities than I do.
I click present, but then it says video file, image file. It doesn't say anything about a website. Extra camera, slides, and PDFs. I don't see any place you can put a link. That's weird. Share screen.
Oh, would be here for share screen?
Let me try that and see what happens. Okay. Huh. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
That's weird. StreamYard. Okay. Up. We have a problem. All right, let me get rid of that. No, what happened was it's just sharing itself. I think I got some computer configuration issues. When I did the share screen, it just basically shared itself, which is like looking between two mirrors, where the image just repeats itself. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna actually try.
A good learning
Hopefully.
experience. Okay. Okay, any more? Last part of the link in chat after live. Yeah, I could. I did that. Yep.
No, it didn't work.
Okay.
I thought I
Okay.
shared something.
Yeah. TFG, the guy is insane. Okay. Why did it not? Oh, he's coming back. I think he's trying to get his setup fixed up. I know the feeling.
Okay. I tried on my end. I couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. We all can't be perfect, right?
I don't know anybody that is perfect. That's the thing. I don't think I've ever met a perfect person in my life. I always say it's a trade-off.
No.
Everybody, it's like all these women, they want the
perfect I've met people that thought that they were perfect.
I've seen a lot of people like that, but I've never, a lot of these, this is the thing that people get so hung up on celebrities. And I've always said, I've never met any of these people in person, but if I did, I would be disappointed in every one of them, because I know real life people that are more impressive than any celebrity I can think of. And I don't know anyone that's got everything. I've never met a person that has the best looks, the best intelligence, and everything together. Okay, Jonathan's popped in. Let's see. I don't know why this doesn't do it. This is just weird.
Yeah, he's saying he can't do it on his end because his laptop is messed up in the wires.
Right. That's odd. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that is not what I want to do. Okay. I don't know. This is odd. Okay. I mean, usually they have a browser link. I can present a video file, but it would have to already be on the computer. Same thing with an image. And if I show the screen, let's see.
Right.
It just goes. And
I'm looking at the thing. Let me pause it. Actually, I have it on mute, but I mean, I was able to get it on another present section, but then you and me closed out for a couple minutes.
Right.
Like that was left on, but
I just wonder how this compares.
So I mean, I got us as far as into the car, but I couldn't get us to the destination in the car.
Right. Seems like, what did I do? Okay.
But it looks like it's about the fundraiser for Jonathan.
Yes. Well, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. I put a link. I think I had a link on my page. I'm not sure if it's still there, but I don't know if I get enough viewers or anybody even notices it. But Let's see. The guy is insane. TFG. Guy is insane. The other problem is that there's these people that keep harassing Jonathan for some strange reason. I don't know why, but I guess they have nothing better to do with their life than to try to aggravate somebody else, which I think is ridiculous.
Right. Bingo. That's why they do it, because they have nothing else better to do.
That's probably one of the reasons they don't do it to me that often, because I kind of laugh off everything. Everybody's different, you know. And like I said, even, you know, some of the channels, people get offended, but some of them they don't. They're like,
Right.
like, you know, Kerry, he doesn't get offended. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that could offend him, but on YouTube, it doesn't seem to make a difference.
Yeah, like water off a duck's back, basically, which is
There you
a good
go.
analogy for you.
That is very true. I'm going to have to. Well, I did make a video one time of the ducks in the rain. I said it's like water off a duck's back. Okay, let's see what we got here. I got some more comments. Okay. Hide him from your channel. Yes. One guy was perfect once. Yeah, that's referring to Jesus being chased by a sugar zombie. Each post gets more and more detailed. Fortunately, I moderate most channels. Just want to make sure it's addressed. Some people are evil. I agree with that. Men will walk on water. Others will say it is because he cannot swim. There you go. Well, you know what? If it's a frozen day, it's easy to walk on water. That's one good thing.
That
Cold
is
enough,
true.
anybody can walk on water. Oh, we got another comment here. For grandma, I've seen one comment that it doesn't look autistic. That is just stupid to say that.
That's a pretty good question. What is the imagery of autism supposed to look like? You know?
Yeah, that's just somebody that either is being an idiot or doesn't know anyone that's autistic, because I know from experience they don't have a certain look. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you might be thinking of
Everything's different.
Down syndrome. That has a certain look, but autism, no.
Right.
In fact, the only person I know in real life to this point that's autistic is actually extremely good looking compared to some of the other people that he works with. So there's not a certain look to it. It's more of it's a personality. I mean, has nothing to do really with looks. What else we got here? I guess I should look more like a beanpole or something. God forbid. Yeah, like me, a beanpole. Someone with intense passions tries to achieve what they love to do. But yeah, the other person I know that's autistic, he's actually in very good shape, and he's also into the gym. Of course, he's not carnivore, and he's younger, so maybe time will change that. But that's okay. Let's see what else we got here. Found the book Grain Brain for $1. Well, that's a good find, probably at the thrift store. I don't have any of those books. By your definition, Rick, I've walked on water a lot. Hey, if you live in a cold enough climate, it's easy to do. You live in Florida, not so easy to do. And if you see somebody walking on water, there's probably gators underneath. You know, that it's like in I think it was a James Bond movie. It was the one where they were in Louisiana. Was that Moonraker? I don't know. It was one of those James Bond movies, and he was on the island, this little island over there it's full of alligators. This bad guy, had like a place in the swamp, and he got off the island by running across the backs of alligators as they were snapping at him. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Well, there you go. I was not aware that Barkay was on the autism spectrum. That's interesting.
I mean, when I hear stuff like that, it doesn't shock me any. But yeah, I never knew that either. I mean, I'm one of those people that don't get shocked by many things. You know,
Well, that's good.
like, okay.
And Jonathan obviously agrees. So, but again, some people do get personally affected by this, and that's just the way it is, you know. Some people don't care. I don't care. I'm just a quack. They can make fun of me all they want, but they're wasting their time, because I've already made fun of myself long before they ever did. Well, anyway, it looks like it's kind of settled down, and that's good.
Yeah.
So it's getting, what is it, 2:30?
And
Let's
actually,
see.
I want to. I'm going to be getting going soon. I don't know
All
how
right.
long you were planning on being on yourself, but
I generally stay on until other people come in, and when the participation goes down, then I go ahead and close the stream. So,
right.
I don't see
Yeah,
that many comments coming in.
I mean, I don't know how long I've been on here, but the live's been up for about almost 6 hours now.
That's right. They're probably one of the longest. I know we did a longer live stream where you had a bunch of guests, but in this case, it might be one of the longest where you have one person.
I mean, you had some pretty good. I mean, CB had some really good information, and so did Tim.
That's right. And Tim, you get to
know.
meet Tim. I've never seen him before, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
See, I'm not here to promote myself. Oh, we got somebody. Oh, look who's here. There we go.
Oh, see, I did leave too soon then. But...
Oh, you're about to leave? Oh man. Okay. Bye, everybody.
I was thinking about it, but I'll stay on. I'll stay on a little longer if you're here.
Well, I just wanted to pop in just a little bit because I'm gonna actually go on live for about maybe an hour. I don't know how long I'm gonna go today, but I figured I'd just say hi. I got back from shopping. You guys are still on again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's one reason why I was thinking about going off, because I was like, okay, I think Aaron might be doing a live, so to go on for you and to say hello and stuff. But
right.
Yeah. Well, I came on to say hi, guys.
So you were my reason of why I was going to leave Rick. But,
yeah, I was gonna start
let him and Milton take care of the show all by himself.
The monster. Let the monster
go outside and get some sun. It's really cloudy for us here.
There's plenty of sun here.
I was outside earlier, and it's freezing outside where I'm at.
It's hot.
I don't know why, but it's really cold.
No sun.
Cold doesn't exist here unless you stick your head in the refrigerator.
Yeah, no, I'll probably go outside again, put my shoes on, and go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm wearing shorts. So I'm wearing shorts, so that might be why I'm cold too. That could have something to do with it.
It's been so long since I've been cold. It's crazy.
See, I should start my own live stream. I just want to talk. Anyway, I just want to pop in and say hi to you. And hey, everybody.
Well, thank you for being here. I see you've been here in the comments.
Yeah, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So I missed everybody else who popped in. I'll have to rewatch it one of these days.
Well, that's the thing. If you ever get the time, there's just so much content out there. No one can ever keep up.
That's right.
Yep.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe not.
Yeah. We need to spend more time outside. I'll have to set up an outside live stream. That'll be the next thing I need to do.
Each time you have to evolve.
That's right.
You got to evolve your live streams.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to do. And then when I get to move, it'll be even better. I'll just put an outdoor studio. That'll be the way to go. My biggest problem is responding to comments. But I guess if I put a big enough TV outside and I hooked it up to the computer and then I work from there, I could probably see the comments. There's several ways. I got enough junk laying around here. I could figure something out.
Yeah. So Orbital says we need a lizard cam or a snatch cam.
Well, it's possible. Go grab the lizard. Grab the iguana by the tail, as they say.
That would be fun. That would be fun to watch, actually.
Okay, yeah, Barkay. I think Barkay even has a live either Saturday. I think today's Saturday. I don't know. Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. Saturday, yeah.
According to my calendar, today is Saturday. Unless you're in like Australia, then it's Sunday. But,
See, Jonathan has a good point. I don't come across many clients without disabilities or illnesses. I just make sure they don't get worse with the duck food. That's it. I've never seen anyone that didn't have a problem. We all have our problems. We're imperfect. We learn to work around them. That's all. Hopefully our food pyramid changes. I agree with that. And there's Carnivore Keith. And the mail truck keeps driving by. but they never stop. That's weird.
Gotta go wave them down or something.
They have a letter for you, Rick, but they're afraid to mail it to you. They're afraid to.
I haven't gotten mail for like 3 days now. I don't know. Maybe they're afraid. They think it's like the Addams Family, where you have, what is it? The hand that comes out. What did they call that? The thing. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And then they go to my door. I open the door and go, "You rang."
It's probably what
You see what Dr. Nelson said? That somebody said that he looked like Uncle Fester and that I would be Lurch. So he put a picture of like Uncle Fester and Lurch. See, that would be
Yeah, I
Rick
saw that. I still think you put a little thin mustache on you and have your hair slicked back the way you do with a nice pinstripe suit. You would definitely make.
So Terry Sue says, Aaron, they made a huge deal of the quake in Tennessee today, and there was one that was like, I guess everybody felt it, but I didn't, and I was awake too watching Rick's live stream when it happened, and there was like no shaking for us, but everybody else did feel it around us. And man, I haven't even seen it on the news yet. I don't know if there's any damage, because it's a big quake.
Back in the old days when they used to have rock pits here, we used to get vibration from the blasting, but we never had an earthquake.
I didn't feel anything. Everybody else, like,
It's
closer
funny.
to
I
town.
actually woke up to Rick's live stream this morning. Like you were my alarm clock, Rick. And,
there you go.
And I wake up, I go downstairs for 1 second to get a cup of coffee. I come back upstairs, and your live stream's done with. It was like 45 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? Rick never has a 45-minute live stream, you know?
Then you see that I moved to this one.
Right. Yeah, it didn't take long to figure that out. But I was like, what the hell? Is Rick sick?
I made yogurt. And
over another like a bazillion hours.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if it's less than 3 hours, there's something wrong, you know?
Well, that's it. I think my first live stream was at least 5 hours. You never know. Because the thing is, I let the viewers control the live stream. That's the trick. Snatch cam is a GoPro attached to your arm while the claw snatches.
Let's face facts. Let's face facts for a second there, Rick. Because even if you have nobody on with you, you still can go about 3 hours by yourself.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah. You know how that is.
Like, it's not because you let anybody else on. It's just because you can conversate and you can carry a tune.
Well, that's it. I've had
no, I do
people
not mean
say,
musical tune.
well, I'm not that bad when it comes to singing either, but I've had people say, I just want to make a couple of, short comments, and then an hour later, they're still talking. That's just the way it is.
Like me.
And I did a lot of customer service when I had my businesses, and believe me, I've been able to calm a lot of bad situations on people that basically were ready just to blow up. And when I got everyone together, they just had to come up with a solution. Yeah, small cameras that go on a cat's collar would be fun. And you never have to look for milk. Yeah, right? The little menace. This morning, he was running around so fast. It's crazy. Everywhere I went, choo, 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 back and forth. That cat was 90 miles an hour. He's nutty. It's cute, though.
So, yeah, I was just about to mention this. Jackie says about she's alive and over the post-surgery pain hump. I didn't realize that anything was going on. But I'm sorry about that, Jackie.
I wonder what kind of surgery it was.
Yeah.
Well, hello. There we go. That's excellent. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. That's why you have 42 different phones. Customer service, full spectrum. Well, some of these actually are from the phone system that we had in the business. I'm still using that on the other wall here. This one right there.
Yeah.
Those are the NEC DSX phones that we had in the mid-2000s. And when we closed the business, I took them home with me. I hate throwing stuff out, so I repurposed it. I give it to somebody or I'll put it to use myself. That's the way that I am. Got my reduction, my girls. 4 pounds.
I figured out what she means when she said that. Yeah.
Okay. Is that like that restaurant that has an owl for the sign?
I have a friend. She had to get the same surgery. She felt so much better after.
Really? I guess that comes from being a little overweight.
Well, she wasn't overweight. She just,
Wasn't
God
that like a
bless her.
Dolly Parton
Smaller
thing?
dog.
It's a Dolly Parton thing.
Yeah.
Felt way
Dude.
like after she had surgery and everything, she felt way better. She was able to like just stand up straighter and stuff.
Yeah.
Pin-up picture is cool. I wonder what that is. Wonder whose picture that is. Who? Okay. Yeah. Had those. Yeah. Dollies were fake. Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah. I've been fortunate. I've never had surgery. I've never been in the hospital, but I always said it would be terrible because I'd probably starve. On my wall. Oh, they're just model cars.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'd have a hard time driving. That'd be too small, but
And from the car club. Where is that? I can't get this out of here now. What is this? That's when we had the car club over there. These little model cars my friends used to give me as a little gift, because I'm a major car motorhead kind of guy. I love my Dodge Chargers, which I haven't even had on the video for a long time, but it's coming one of these days. Let's see. St. Ranger Booby Goats. Oh, boy. By the phones, yeah. Oh, those. Okay. This stuff.
yeah. Now you're getting.
When I was a kid.
Oh, the paintings.
Well, they're not
Yeah, I
paintings.
saw
They're
them
like
before too.
this fiberboard things. This has been here since I was a kid. My parents put that there. I'm not sure. Somebody named Ann, I guess, is the name. But
Right. I mean, pretty good.
yeah.
Whoever did it.
But that's from back in the 60s when they put that there, or early 70s. As far as I remember, that stuff's been there. It's still partially in the plastic wrapper. But yeah, this is definitely very old. I haven't done anything in this room. You got to remember, when I moved out of the house, the room basically stayed like this. My parents used it as a storage, and they filled it with junk. When my parents started having health issues in 2010, then I had to clean the room out so I could stay here with them when I was here. And then eventually I ended up living here again, and, well, this is what happened. And the only time I haven't been in this room is when the air conditioner broke. Earlier, was it last year, I had to sleep in the living room on the couch for a few months until I could fix the air conditioner. But other than that, I've been in here the whole time. So it's almost like when I was a kid, everything here. I put this neon in here when I was a teenager, when I used to make neon. And I just collected stuff and put it in the room. So, and what I'll do when I get ready to move, I'm going to take everything out of here. I'll probably trash this paneling because it's shot. I've already gotten too many splinters. But when I make my new room, I'll use real wood. This is like a plywood. I'll use real pine or real cypress or something and use beaded board. But yeah, I kind of like the look. I don't like the new, I'll have to make a video one day about this crap they build here in Miami, the black, white, and gray, no way that I call it. Everything now has to be just plain. They act like it's high class when there's really nothing to it. Remember in the old days, high class was like gold and antiques and all that, that fancy stuff they used to have. But nowadays, high class is considered to be nothing. Basically, you have nothing. Everything's painted white. And to me, that's cheap. Hello. Look at that.
You're going to wave bye because they need me.
Hi.
Bye.
Hi, Rocky. Hi, Flash.
Say hi, bye. Hi. Hi.
Hi. That's another thing I've noticed. The kids always seem to smile at me. I guess I'm funny.
Rocky. Yeah.
Everybody laughs at a duck. Huh?
So I'm going to go. I might
All right.
go maybe 2:30. So.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's 2:45 now here. So was it 1:45 there?
Hour behind.
Well, it's 1:45 my time, so probably like I don't know what it'd be. But I'll
2:45.
Yeah, something like that. All right, see you guys.
All right.
See ya.
Good to have you, Aaron.
So Jackie
right.
put in a comment here. So I had asked prior if I should fast, and here's what happened. I fasted prior, and my doc said, I know you are a carnivore, but you have to eat carbs so you can heal. I just read this like 4 or 5 times, and I'm sorry, the inside of me is like just laughing with the sadness of it all. You know, because obviously carbs do not help you heal. Carbs do a lot of stuff, but heal is not one of them.
That's true. And besides, people tend to eat way too much. Hummel paintings or rock. I don't know. That's a good question. It might be Hummel style. I'm not sure, but I know they're old. I know that.
From what I saw, it looked like Hummels, like on the painting thing.
Yeah, they kind of look like it, don't it?
Yeah.
There's a couple more in the bathroom that have been there forever. I don't know if they got thrown out or if they're still there. Got to eat carbs to heal. Nope. Howdy. Yep. Still there. All right.
Here's Rocky. Rocky's
You're
adorable.
funny, Rick. I am. You would make a great father. I've heard that many times. Rick, you're patient. You make a great father. Well, since I haven't made it, it won't happen, and I'm too old now, so it won't matter. I'm genuinely hurt that people would accuse you, Rick. I'm angered tonight. Well, you know what? People are just people. I don't know what I can do about them. See you, Aaron. T-shirt idea. On the inside, laughing at how sad it is. Okay.
Now, did I miss something? What did they accuse? I didn't see anybody accusing you of anything. Or did I miss something?
It might have been.
And I do apologize if I did, you know.
Well, I've had people accuse me of all kinds of things.
Right.
You know,
but I meant like generally today.
I didn't notice anything right now.
I really didn't see anything in the
wrong.
chats accusing you of anything, unless it's someplace else.
Could be.
I mean, I get mad. I would get mad too if I saw that. That's what I'm saying. Like, what did I miss?
I got so many problems to deal with. I don't even worry about it. It's like people I know that get into road rage. I don't care. I said, look, in a few seconds, I won't see them again. So who cares?
Yep.
Let's see here. Now, if I had restored my car and they crashed into that, then they might see some real road rage. Some reckless driver destroys my fully restored car. I may get angry enough to turn their car over and stuff their head into it. You know, that'd be bad. But the little stuff, I don't worry about it.
That's pretty expressive there.
Well, it's like when the jack broke in my car, I actually picked it up to get the tire back on. Let's see. What is this? Replenishing your cells with more cells you're actually made of. That's not a bad idea. Those saturated fats have got to be better than that synthetic crap they try to make you eat. Let's see. Oh, we got more comments. Rick would take out his refurbished rocket launcher. Well, don't tempt me. I might build one. But I don't really get mad at the average person. I get more angry with the system, the government, the corporations, and all the people that make this possible. The other stuff doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, but instead of a rocket launcher, it would be a duck launcher. It'd be like, you know, you'd be shooting ducks.
Well, you'd have to have an army of aggressive ducks. Get the meanest male ducks you can imagine and have them attack somebody. I don't know if you saw, I put a video I saw on the news that some lady got attacked by a duck. But I think what happened is the duck flew up on her arm and then grabbed her with the claws. That's probably what happened. I've had them do that to me before, but she probably tried to knock the duck off and it tore her skin. I've had the ducks fly up, land on my arm, and then I just start petting them, and then they fly off. So I think when they look at me and they realize, oh, he's a duck eater, and then they fly off, and that's it. I've never been hurt by a duck in my entire life. Wash right up on shore. I guess some cartoon ideas. That's funny. Yeah, there you go. I see you got a response there. Duck launcher is brilliant. One time I had the code enforcement harassing me because they said that I couldn't have livestock because there's ducks in my yard. And I told the guy, I said, they're not my ducks. It's, well, you're responsible. And I grabbed one of the ducks and I shoved it up to his car. You take him. He called the cops on me. They sent 3 police cars because they said that I assaulted him. Like, what did you do? I said, he told me I had to get rid of the duck. So I picked up a duck and I told him, you take it. And the one police lady, she was trying not to laugh. She was like,
Yeah, it's a little hard.
covering. I mean, she was going to laugh. And then the other guy's like, well, you know, I think they said you shouldn't get too close to his car. You might be invading his space. I said, I didn't know. And the whole thing kind of blew over. That was it. But that code guy, he got scared. You should have seen his face when I held the duck up and the duck. Huh?
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you a question. He was in your yard, right? Or no?
Well, I mean, in front of the house, he's sitting in the car. He came in my yard.
So isn't that your space?
Yeah, you would think so.
But his car was in your space.
Pretty much.
But that's all I'm trying to say. Like, they're thinking about you being in his space of the car. Well, technically, he's invading your space of your home.
Well, that's true, but that's what they always do. They always want to harass you and nitpick your life. But what happened was, it was so funny because he was busy looking in his computer to try to write up some kind of phony citation, and the duck went because Muscovy ducks make a breathing sound. So when I held him up to the car, he put his neck in there and went. And when he saw the guy he jumped. He acted like I had a gun in his face, and it was just a duck head. And people are terrified of those ducks. If you've ever seen a Muscovy duck up close, they got that warty-looking head with the red stuff. It scares people really badly. And meanwhile, I'm over there cuddling up to the ducky. So people are like, oh, how can you touch that horrible thing? They act like it's some kind of diseased, leper or whatever it is. It's just terrible. Sort of fly out. Okay. A duck launcher. E2 duck rocket. There's no Georgia. Wow. Yeah, it's probably just something they measured on a sensor. Couch potato. They look like something out of Lord of the Rings. He's got a good imagination. Trying to make that duck cartoon. But anyway, speaking of days, I need to go outside, I think. Got a million things to do. I can't spend the entire day indoors. So, and I think Thomas, he's coughing, so he needs to take a break. So, if nobody else wants to pop in the live stream, then I think we should end the live stream. And, next week there'll be another live stream, but you don't have to wait till next week. No. Because tomorrow, I think it's at 6 o'clock. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Our previous guest, semi-retired Bob, is having an online get-together. It's his birthday. So I was invited along with Dave Mack and along with Russ Mitchell. So if you want to see some of the funniest carnivores around, check it out. Also on Tuesday, on the Keto Cookout, I will also be there with Russ Mitchell. So I'll be there. And as a special bonus, I believe it's on Wednesday, I'm going to be on the 6 a.m. Dr. Kilt Show. So you're going to see a lot of me in the next few days. If you don't see me, I probably died of a heart attack. So if you don't see me online, look for the announcement that Rick got a heart attack and died from his horrible carnivore diet. So what do you think, Thomas? I guess you'll be working, but maybe you'll be there. I don't hear you. I guess you're on mute. Okay. Or did I lose my sound? I don't know if anyone can hear me or all the audio is going down.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay. Oh, I had myself muted probably when I was coughing. I didn't unmute it from coughing, so that's.
Oh, okay.
You weren't going deaf. You weren't going crazy.
Well, let's see what
I mean,
else
at
we
least not
got.
for
We got.
this.
Okay, that's
Yeah. No, I
That's
was
a
I was saying the
squirrel.
thing to check me out tomorrow at noon, if you're able to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm
I see
gonna put my
Jonathan
live in there
sorted.
tomorrow.
Jonathan sorted out his setup, so you know it's going to be better than ever. Let's see. Take a couple of hours off, Rick. Yes, I'm going to take some time off here.
Yeah.
And
I
see.
have something to say about what Terry Sue's saying right here. Just a little comment
Okay.
I have. She's saying, Rick, you're getting around. I just have one thing to say. It's about freaking time, because you've been around for a long time, and the fact that you are getting around a lot more, it's about time that you're getting around more. It's about time your face was starting to come up.
I appreciate that. I guess I haven't been around much, and people haven't been seeing me. And I've been making videos for almost 3 years now. In August, it'll be 3 years since I did my first interview. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, you are starting. I think people are starting to realize that we're all different, and we all have different outtakes, and whether it's any differences is a good difference, basically, to me.
Yeah, I agree. Not everybody can be the same. If we were all the same, we'd either be really boring, or it would be easy to take down the whole system, because if everyone's the same, then everybody has the same weakness and the same strength. But at least when you have different people, it's like in nature. You don't have a forest of just one species of tree. You have to have a mix. Otherwise, the system eventually goes down. All right. So it's a classic. Yep. Okay. Well, you have to remember, I call it the heart attack diet because I didn't care if I got a heart attack, and I joke about it all the time. It's just like people joke about all different things. People joke about how ugly they are, and they joke about how dumb they are, and so on. But, it's a heart attack. Okay, yeah, Marcus sorts you all out. That's true. Comments keep coming. It's definitely personality driven. Yes, it is. So anyway, I guess it's almost, what is it, almost 3 o'clock? It's about time that we cut this off, and I go outside and get something done. And you too, you're probably already doing it while I'm talking, because you can listen to us. But, if you're sitting in front of the computer or in front of the TV, might be a good time to go outside. And then later on at night, I'm sure you can hit your favorite channels or TV shows or whatever. It's just that our words are powerful. People believe this whole, what I call prosperity doctrine, where they think you can speak things into existence. I don't believe that at all. The Bible says that time and unforeseen circumstances basically affect us all. So I think it's more of that. Now, you can talk yourself out of something. You can say, well, I don't want to do this job because it's hard, or I may get hurt, or this. That I do believe is true. If you want to learn something new and you talk yourself out of it, that's a problem. But when you're making jokes about things like heart attack and hurricanes and all that, I've been joking about hurricanes for decades, and it's been 100 years since Miami got hit by a hurricane. Yes, there was Andrew, but that was down south. I don't think our words really matter. I think what really matters is the attitude that we have. And if we believe that only the bad things can happen, that's a problem. But if we laugh about what can happen, I think there's an advantage to it. It's all in having that good sense of humor. And people that have a good sense of humor always seem to live longer. I've noticed that. Even the ones that are out of shape, seems like the people with a good sense of humor always live longer. Bible says
Amy said, ask me. She's a good egg. I like Amy. She's really nice.
That's good. Everybody has their own
view.
view.
I think I mentioned her before. She actually writes children's books for Carnivore.
Yes,
that she's actually.
I remember.
Worked with Dr.
I've seen her story. I know that.
Yeah. So I mean, she's pretty powerful. She has pretty powerful stuff,
Mm-hmm. Right. But you know what? We all got to go sometime. One of these days, there's many ways you can go. You could have cancer, you could have an accident, you could have infectious disease, but of all the ways to go, the quickest and the most entertaining seems to be the heart attack. You grab your chest, you fall over, you die, and that's it. There's no suffering. I mean, there may be short-term suffering, but when your heart's blocked, you don't have much to go. So I would rather have a heart attack than get cancer or some other chronic, painful, debilitating disease. And a lot of people just have a heart attack at night. They just go to sleep and they don't wake up. It's like my grandfather. My mom used to talk about that. He went to sleep and didn't wake up. Heart attack. So if you're going to go, that's the best way to go. And if you believe in God, then you know that your life is in his hands. So no matter what happens to your physical body, he'll remember you if you're one of the good people. So you have nothing to worry about, really. Otherwise, why would anybody have any kids? You're just sentencing to them to misery. So, but it's a little something to think about. And again, everyone has a different view. Okay, what else we got here? Feelings are what jack people up. Yep. Okay, I'd have to look that up. All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and I'll shut this down and we can pull out and go on and live our life. And again, I will see you hopefully tomorrow with Semi-Retired Bob. That's what I'm looking forward to. Let's see. What is this? Yeah, see? That's good. Well, that depends. If you have chronic disease associated with heart failure, your life is not good. But see, that would give symptoms. Those are the people that are starting to get out of breath. They don't have the energy they used to. But if you're 56 years old and you have the same energy and strength as when you were 26, your life is good. You get that sudden, intense heart attack, and that's the end of it. What's wrong with that? And there have been people out there that just, even people that are athletic, they just drop dead. All of a sudden, that's it.
Basically, what you're talking about, you're not talking about like an ongoing lifestyle. You're talking about that instant. Like you were thrown in front of a train, or you're dropped off a building, and you had the heart attack because of the sheer panic of the instantaneous.
That's right. Or just from old age. Nothing lasts forever.
Right.
Something just fails, and that's it. Because in
Everything
the end,
just stops.
In the end, the entire world is ruled by the second law of thermodynamics, which is called entropy. Everything tends towards greater disorder. So without an external force to keep putting the energy in the system, it eventually breaks down. It's going to happen. None of us are going to live forever in this form.
No.
Now, maybe in another form, that's depending on your beliefs. But even if you believe that you're going to live forever on the earth, it's not going to be in the same body. It's got to be replaced because this system is faulty. It's not perfect. So, and everybody has issues. I don't care who you are. I have yet to meet a person that's perfect. So.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So that's the important thing, because otherwise, I think if anybody was perfect, they would just sort of become full of themselves, and then that would lead to a worse crash. All right, so
I'm here. I'm putting my shoes on.
Okay.
Guess where I'm going right after we're done.
For a walk?
No. No, I'm not feeling that well to do a walk, but I'm going to go outside and sit on the bench for a while.
That's it. I need to go outside. I got 2 grenades to sell for 200 new yens.
Yeah.
Your heart stops for whatever reason. That is very true. Take care, everyone, and have a great day. I painted a room while you were talking. Well, there you go. See, somebody's being productive. I'm not being productive, but I will be. So we'll go ahead.
I can't paint a room. I can't paint a room in like only 4 hours. I'm sorry. I'm not that good.
Well, it depends on the size of the room and what you're working with. I'm sure if you have a great
if the room is
paint
already
sprayer,
actually no, you know what? If the room is already empty and everything's set up, then I could probably do it. But to move the furniture and everything, that's where I see people are coming on here a little late. No offense.
Yeah, they seem to be, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I've been sketching
I'm
the whole
just joking,
time.
guys. Anytime you come on is a good time.
That's it. But yeah, it's like I said, tomorrow I'll be back. Not a problem. Check out on Semi-Retired Bob. I'll be back on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So you got
Yep.
3 more,
Check out.
actually 4 more, including next Saturday. So
And how
I'm
old
not
is
going
Bob
anywhere.
going to be?
What's that?
How old is Bob going to be? 60 something, right?
62, I think. I thought it was 62. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Bob is 5 years older than me, that I remember, and I'll be 57 in a couple of, a few weeks.
Okay.
So he should be 62. I think he's 5
So
years
he's like
older.
10 years older than me.
There you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, until September, then it'll be 9.
Yeah, that's right. Well, all right. So it looks like we reached the end. I'll go ahead and shut this down. Let's see. I'll be 64. Yeah, he'll be 64 in July. There you go. So we'll go ahead and shut this down. So let's see. I'll turn this off. And okay, so we can all say goodbye. And hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow.
Sure.
Take care.
build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.